Everyone, happy Friday. Welcome to another lawn care live stream. My name is Ron Henry and I am your humble host. We're going to get to talk about your lawn successes, your lawn failures, the progression you're making, the progression you're not making. It's all fair game for the show tonight. If you're new to the channel and new to the live stream, first of all, welcome. The way this works, really simple. All you do is you drop your questions down in the chat and I work through them in the order they come in. Sometimes I know the answers, sometimes I don't. But either way, we have a great time talking about lawn care. And yeah, it's always a great time. So let's see what we have in the show tonight. We got Mr. Green M in the house. First up, he's saying, "Hey Ron, how's it going? I'm going to be missing the live stream tonight, working on my in-laws' yard." That's a good reason. It's a good reason to miss it. It says, "You guys all have a good one. I'll catch the replay. Hit that like button ever so gently." I really appreciate it, Green M. That's a good reason to miss the show, is helping your in-laws out with their lawns. That's always cool. We got Esme in the house. We'll get back to your comment there in a second, Esme. We got Gunny Grasshopper. It's a cool handle. Saying, "Hey Ron, what's going on, Gunny? Thanks for coming to hang out." And we got our other usual suspects. We got Dalvin Larry in the house. Dalvin saying, "Hey, awesome. Hey guys, thanks for coming to hang out this evening. Hopefully you're all doing well." It's been raining like crazy here in Georgia the past, I don't know, week. Literally since the last live stream, pretty much all it's been doing is raining. And it finally stopped like late this mid-morning. So we're starting to dry out. Hopefully I'll get to mow hopefully tomorrow morning before karate. We'll see how that works. All right, awesome. So let's see who our first comment we got here is from Esme Anaya. She says, "I've been mowing my lawn twice a week and love it. Thank you. I have Bermuda grass. I'm in California. Temps in the 60s. Is it too late or too early to put down ryegrass? What do you use to cover?" So if anything, it's getting more on the late side, Esme. You want to, really September was the time frame to really get that rye down. You can probably still try it now, and you likely will get some germination. But really, the month of September, once temps cross in the 70s, going low, is when you want to go for it. But yeah, it sounds like you're getting some good results from mowing your lawn twice a week. I'm not sure if saying you love it because you like the results you're getting, or you're just falling in love with mowing. Either way, I get it. It's when you first tell people that mowing your lawn more frequently is the most important thing for getting a great looking lawn. They don't really get it until they start doing it, and after a couple 2-3 weeks and they start seeing the results, it really takes off and you kind of crave doing it. So it's awesome that you're getting good results. All right, Grasshopper Lawn Care is in the house saying, "There's something I was going to ask, but I've forgotten what. Old age getting to me." It happens, man. Sometimes I walk from one room into the other. What's the worst thing for me is when I walk into the kitchen to go get something, and I will literally sometimes forget what I was going to go get from the time I get up from my desk to walk out there. Especially if I'm like texting or like listening on a conference call or something like that. Very easy to happen. It might jump back in. We'll see. All right, Gunny Grasshopper's in. He has a comment saying, "Hi Ron, it's been a while. Is now a good time for overseeding my cool season lawn? I'm new at this. Next week, plan to apply a start of fertilizer, seed, and then use straw for cover." Yeah. So as far as the question that you had, also Esme, some people use straw to cover their lawn, some to cover seeded areas. Some people use peat moss. Either of those can work. And as far as if now's the time to go, Gunny, yeah, you're good to go. Like you look at Princess Cut Lawn Care and some other cool season YouTubers, they've already been getting their seeding projects down. They were doing it like late last month. They're well on their way to doing that. So you're good to go. If anything, get it done a little bit sooner than later, because temps are only going to start falling off from here on out. You didn't say which part of the country you're in, but it doesn't matter. You're still good to go as far as doing your overseeding for your cool season lawn. Sounds like a great time. On the topic of cool season, so sometimes I get pictures from viewers of their lawn and they show me like before and after. And one of the viewers who got on, I'd say like a hybrid Golf Course Lawn Academy program. They used some of the fertilizers, also some of the liquid products, the carbon kit, and Vera is who did that. Let me see if I can find her picture. So the before was this. Take a look at that. Not bad, right? I mean, not great, but you could tell it needs some love. We'll just say that much, right? And then this is the after that they just sent me just before the live stream. So before, you can see the flower bed there in the background, and then after. So that's pretty awesome. That's a pretty big change. Obviously, now this time of year is when cool season grass does very well, but just shows how quickly you can transform a lawn in not that long. You look at Alex's lawn, he did a major transformation in just 3 months. And in Vera's case, I don't think it took quite that long, but it's really, really always encouraging to get emails from you guys when you show me how your lawns are doing from all the hard work you're putting in. All right. Grasshopper Lawn Care is back. His memory has returned, and he's saying, oh, I remember. Do you know of anything I can spray on my yard that will kill fescue but not Bermuda? I know I can spray it with Roundup when the Bermuda is dormant. Yeah, so what I would do is use like a selective herbicide instead of using Roundup Grasshopper Lawn Care. I mean, Roundup can work, right? And to your point, if you're absolutely certain the Bermuda is dormant, you can use an application of Roundup to get rid of the fescue. But I much rather go a route that's probably a little bit more expensive, but is a lot more safer for your grass, which is use a selective herbicide, something like Celsius, right? Celsius is safe for warm season grass, but is not safe for cool season grass like Bermuda, like rye, like your fescues. I might be able to pull it up right here and show you the label. I'm not sure if I've got one here somewhere, if I can find it really quick. Maybe, yep, I can. Cool. So if we go switch over here, you can see on the label for Celsius, and if we scroll down, it says, do not use this product on Bahia or cool season grass, including tall fescue, fine fescue, Kentucky bluegrass, perennial rye, or creeping bent grass. So meaning if you want to kill those or severely damage them without hurting Bermuda, this is a good way to do it. Again, it's more expensive than Roundup, but it's also, you're not going to take the chance of damaging your lawn. A neighbor of mine that lives, well, you don't know, he lives like I would say like a 9-iron or a pitching wedge away from me. Over the fall, over the winter, when he thought everything was dormant, he spot sprayed weeds in his lawn with Roundup. And then when the grass supposedly was supposed to come out of dormancy in the spring, he had dead spots that were there for most of the season. So I am really, really leery about telling anyone to ever spray Roundup on their lawn. Even when the lawn is, air quotes, dormant, it's just not worth the risk when there's so many, selective herbicides that you can use that are definitely safe for the grass you want to keep and will target and kill the undesirable plant, right? So if it were me, I would go with something like Celsius. I mean, I think you're in lawn care, so you probably already have it or have access to it. If not, I'll give you a link here to it, but I'm sure you probably already have the stuff being like a lawn care pro. So you'll be the first one at Grasshopper, and there you go. There's Celsius. That is what I would do if it were me. Great question. And I'm glad your memory returned, man. It's always good. All right, C Math is up next. He says, hey, what's up, buddy? I am early this time. Woot, woot. You are early tonight. He says, yes, you are correct. I planted ryegrass and it grew in a week. Can I mow ryegrass less than an inch using a real mower? Will it survive or too short? Yeah. So yeah, rye can be mowed short. I mean, if you look at, you ever watch the Masters? You ever look at Augusta National? Like what Augusta National is the base grass is Bermuda, but during the Masters, when you see it looking like that amazing, like fake looking green that looks amazing, that's ryegrass. They oversee the Bermuda with rye. So yeah, you can cut it short. You have to do some research and find out if there are certain variants of rye that are more tolerant for being mowed short than others. But if you're going at an inch, 3/4 of an inch, pretty much any of them should do fairly well. And yeah, man, definitely let us know how it goes. And I agree with you as far as growing in quickly. Like when I was doing my potting experiment in the back where I had the Zoysia, Arden 15 Bermuda, and ryegrass. The ryegrass, like in a few days, you saw it germinating. So it grows in very, very quickly. So should be good stuff. And you said you're going to use that area to as a practice green. I would do it. I mean, here's the thing. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work, and you only have like a 500 square foot area that you're dealing with, right? So it's to me, it's a relatively low risk experiment. Cut it lower, and if it's not looking like it's not liking it, you can raise it up a bit. I don't know if you're going to go to greens heights that perennial rye is the best thing. It's actually for greens height, it's probably not the best choice. You want to use some kind of a dwarf grass. But if you just want something you're just going to cut low, cut short, and just to mess around with, then rye should work fine. But if you're going like for a green, rye is probably not the best option. But let us know. Keep us posted how it works out, man. All right, we got Dalvin Larry in the house. How's it going, Dalvin? Thanks for coming to hang out. And he has a question about earthway settings. He says, Ron, what are your earthway 2050 settings for headway? I had mine set at 7 to 8 based off of the caravan G rate, but that rate seemed to not put anything out. I sent you an email, but I figured you were busy this week. Yeah, man, this week has been crazy busy. So if anyone has emailed me and I've not emailed you back as yet. Work has been pretty busy, and also some stuff outside of work has been pretty busy. So yeah, I apologize for that. As far as settings, yeah, 7 to 8 is on the low side. For Caravan G, or so for Headway, running it somewhere between 9 to 11, depending on the rate you're after, is going to get you a better result. So I would go up to say 9 and just kind of see how things are going. Or if you want to go just split the difference and go 10, that's fine. 11 is when you're really trying to put it down at a heavier rate, like more of like at the curative levels. So I would start at 9 and slowly work your way up. 7 or 8 is on the low side. So I'm not surprised that you're not getting any of the product to come out, or very little of the products coming out at that rate. Great question. So hopefully that helps. And tomorrow maybe you can get some Headway G down. It's pretty awesome. All right, C-Math saying, I love spending my Fridays listening to you on the 101 freeway, LOL. Yeah, so let me see. In California, I guess it's what, 4 in the afternoon right now, because it's 7:10 here. Yeah, it's not a bad way to pass the time, right? There are worse things you could be doing as far as listening to grass lawn care chat. So yeah, man, I appreciate the regular viewership, the regular commitment. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, next up we got Alex B in the house, Mr. Cool Season Grass. He says, happy Friday, Ron. Reno is going well. The KBG and perennial ryegrass seedlings are popping up all over the place. Definitely takes getting used to watering every day, multiple times per day, versus a deeper, less frequent watering schedule. Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing, Alex, that is only for a short period of time, right? You're only going to be doing that for just for a short period of time. That's not going to be a thing once the grasses gets established and you are in, everything is growing in and you're doing well. I mean, you think about it, you spend a lot of money prepping your lawn, putting down the grass seed, probably putting down fertilizer, doing all these things, and you don't want to like mess it up by not doing the watering to get things to go in nicely. So I know it's a lot of work, it's a pain, but it will be well worth it in the end. All right. So I have a super chat here from Merrill Williams. Let me run down here and grab that really quick before we get back to our other questions from Merrill. Thank you so much, Merrill. I appreciate it.
Super chat received.
Says, happy Friday, Ron and everyone. Ron, can you please share more information about the Miramichi Green 901C fertilizer? Can I apply this fertilizer like Carbon Pro L with no water? Thanks. First of all, Merrill, thank you for the generous super chat. I really do appreciate it. And the answer to your question is yes. So the best way to understand what 901C is imagine release 0. So imagine this product with a 10% micronized carbon. Imagine this product with some fertilizer added. So you have 9% nitrogen and 1% potassium added into that. That is really the difference between the two. So you think of it literally as release 0 with some nitrogen added. So according to what Miramichi Green was telling me, they had some of their customers that wanted to have like more of an all-in-one type product. So which is where the where 901C came to life. So yes, and like I'm trying to think here. There's none of the liquids from Miramichi Green require being watered in. So this one is also the same is true for this one as well. And I think we've got that on the Golf Course Lawn Store somewhere. I think we do. Yeah. So I can show you here. We should show over. So you go to golfcourselawn.store. Release 0. This is you can say almost like the base product, and then 901C, which is what Merrill is talking about, is right here, which is like your liquid fertilizer. So a good example is if you didn't want to use, say, Turfplex, right, which is the fertilizer that I like to use. If you wanted to use something that were an all-in-one type product, that's where 901C comes in. I thought about actually when I was creating the golf course lawn kit with Miramichi Green using 901C, but I know some of you guys have your particular vintage of fertilizer that you guys like, so I didn't want to shoehorn you into having to use 901C if there's something else that you prefer. That's the only reason why it's not in the carbon kit. I was actually considering making it a component of the kit because it would simplify things a bit. But again, I know you guys like choices as far as options for different fertilizers. So that's the reason why it's not. But hopefully that helps answer your question, Merrill. Thank you so much for the super chat. And no, you do not need to water it in. Just simply apply it and you are good to go. All good to go. All right, next up, Mr. Dalvin Larry is commenting. He says, weirdest thing ever is my grass is greener now than it has been all season. Growth rate has slowed, but doesn't look like it's going to sleep anytime soon. Mid-70s in North Carolina. Yeah, Dalvin, from what I understand, from looking at your lawn, I think you were trying a lot of different things throughout the season. And if memory serves me, like in September, you got a soil test done and I believe you sent it to me and all your nutrient levels were low. And then based on that, you were, I think you threw like a triple 12 at it. So I'm not surprised that now the lawn's waking up and looking good for a couple of reasons, right? One, it's not seeing the stress that it was seeing during the summer months with all the heat. And you actually fed it what it wants, right? You gave it what it was after. So it is happy and enjoying life. So that's pretty awesome. So I'm glad that's better late than never. You're getting to enjoy some of your green turf this season, and hopefully it holds out a bit longer before it starts to go dormant. All right, next up, Robert Rainey's in the house saying, hello all. What's going on, Robert? Hope all is doing well. So guys, as far, I was thinking about what Dalvin was saying about, his lawn looking really good. And in the past weekend, I did, if you guys followed my YouTube stories, I did my last fertilizer app of this season. So the Humic Max went down along with Headway. So the first granular fungicide of the fall went down. So I'll do my next follow-up as far as fungicide the end of this month, early November. But yeah, if you have warm season grass, you really don't want to be pushing too much growth this late in the season. You don't really want to be slamming the lawn too much with as far as a lot of nitrogen or anything else, because you can create problems that you really won't see until springtime. So Robert, thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. I appreciate you, sir. Next up, we have Mr. Jinwan Park in the house. Great looking family says, hey Ron, I'm noticing a pattern where I spray high-end liquid app right after a mow. It tends to stress or burn the lawn slightly. Any thoughts on waiting a few hours post-mow to apply liquids? Yeah, you could wait. You could give it a few hours or even the next day to before applying it. Give the grass a bit of time to heal before you apply that. But what would be interesting, Jinwan? You said you're doing you're spraying a high N. Are you certain that the product that you're using doesn't require being watered in, or you're not spraying it a bit on the heavy side that's causing maybe some mild burning that could be causing the discoloration? Because it'd be interesting to find out if you didn't. In other words, if you kept your sodium applications, but you lowered the rate, if that would make a difference, or if it's truly related to the fact that you're mowing right after. I can tell you that when I have sprayed my lawn, or I've mowed and I've sprayed Turfplex, which is a 22-3 formulation right after mowing, and I've never had any issues with burning on my lawn or anything like that. But then again, I applied it at a low rate. I do it at like 6 ounces per 1,000, which for that is like 0.10 pounds, like a tenth of a pound of nitrogen. It's barely anything. It's like a taste, right? Just to give it a little kicker to green up a bit and maintain that color. So it'd be interesting to know what fertilizer you're using and what application rate you're using to see if that's more the problem, more so than the fact that you were applying it right after mowing. So great question. Definitely, if you have some more follow-up, drop them in the comments below and we will revisit it. All right, next up we got Andrew77 in the house, a man that loves Manchester United, saying, hey Ron, for seedlings in newly established grass, is a pure iron liquid or granular application advisable? The starter fert had some, but wanting to green up a bit more, with the existing grass a bit more. So here's the thing, I know that like the Yard Mastery Triple 12 as a starter fert has a bit of iron in it, and that shouldn't be a problem. I know a lot of people that have been using that both for overseeding projects and for just straight seeding projects, and they've had good results with it. I've never actually sprayed pure liquid iron or even like ironite on my lawn. I always apply. I've always done my iron apps along with either like when I was applying a Milorganite that has some iron in it, and when I use like Turfplex when I'm spraying that has some iron in it. The thing is, most liquid irons are, if you're spraying a liquid, if you have a choice between the two, I would go for the liquid more so than the granular, because you said you have seedlings. If the grass is already growing in, then granular. But if you just seeded the lawn, meaning nothing is germinated, and you want to get a quick green up, the liquid's going to work faster than the granular. And if the grass that the new seedlings that you're putting in haven't started growing yet, there's like relatively little to no risk of absorption by them versus using a granular. Either way, you're probably going to be fine if you just use the rate. I've just never applied just strictly iron right after seeding to be able to say, yeah, you're going to get a good result or get a bad result. Like when I seeded my lawn in May, I applied Bloomplex right afterwards, and this, I don't think this has any iron in it. Yeah, it does. It has a taste, like a 0.1% of iron, so very, very little low iron. This is what I used, and I didn't see any adverse effects to the lawn, the new grass growing in, or the existing lawn. So I think you're going to be fine. But I've just never sprayed ironite or any one of those to be able to tell you that, if you went pure iron, something bad would happen. If anything, go low on the rate, Andrew, just to be safe. But I'm pretty sure you're going to be just fine. Great question. All right, Joseph saying hey to everyone. Thanks for that, Joseph. Always nice to see you in the live stream. Happy Friday to you, sir. It's finally drying up here in Georgia for a change, man. It rained like crazy this past week. We've gotten so much rain. Next up, we got Connor Soul saying, what's going on, Ron? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. I can't complain. Got my lemonade. Now tonight, guys, I just got Publix lemonade. Here's the thing. I got a gallon of Milo's in the fridge, but it's unopened. And I got the Publix that's already open. So I got to kind of finish up the Publix before I get to the Milo's, right? You want to have two open at the same time. I guess you can, but I just think back of how my mom would react to that if I were to open like two different types of juice at the same time. Would not be well received. So I guess old habits from childhood die hard. But yeah, man, I am doing well. Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. I really do appreciate it. All right. Alex B says, also loving the dew on the grass the last few weeks. Ideal for the reno and seeding. Very moist, damp, about 8 p.m. to 10, 11 the next morning. Cool. So you got a lot of moisture. That's nothing wrong with that. Alex. All right. So let's see here. Brandon Knapp says, hey, just got my soil test done using the kit you recommended. I have high sulfur. Anything I can do for that? I also emailed them to you for suggestions. Okay, Brandon, when did you email me? If you email me this week, I will dig it up and see if I can find the email from you. I know I am running behind on some emails. If you don't mind, and if you have the one that you sent handy, like just look in your sent items real quick and just forward it to me so it's at the top of my inbox so I can take care of it. As far as doing anything for high sulfur, there's nothing that I've never. I don't know if there's anything you can do for high sulfur. If there's any products you can apply that will lower high sulfur. And on the same time, I'm not sure what kind of adverse effects you would have from that. If you have not sent me the soil test results, sounds like you have, but if you don't mind, send them to me. Just forward them to me again. I'll take a look tonight and get you my thoughts. If sulfur is the only thing that's out of whack, I really wouldn't worry about it too much. Again, I've seen lawns, I've seen soils where sulfur was incredibly low, and ones where literally it was off the scale. And in both cases, the people were able the viewers were able to get great looking lawns. So it's not something that I would actively look to address. Kind of like if you told me that your potassium were low or your nitrogen were low or one of the micronutrient were low, that's something I'd say we can do something about. But the fact that there aren't a ton of products that are like heavily marketed and on the market for addressing sulfur also tells us that it's not something that really has a huge effect on the overall health of your lawn. There's a lot of other things, a lot of other factors that weigh heavier than just that. But again, email me or send me the email with the stuff that you have with your results. Take a look at it, and I will get an answer to you this evening. All right, Mr. Crabgrass, Mr. Killing the Crabgrass of VMH. So you were at 80% last week, VMH. What are you at to this week? Is the percentage of Bermuda replacing the crabgrass going up, or are we still holding steady at 80%? You gotta let us know, man. All right, Kelby Rose is in the house. What's going on, Kelby? I am back at it again. It is Friday. It's Friday, and I'm not out of town, and nothing crazy is happening at work, so I am here to hang out with you guys, as always, right? Next, we got Roosevelt Jefferson in the house saying, good evening, Ron. Happy Friday. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming to hang out, Roosevelt. And Dave's lawn vlog is saying, just want to pop in real quick. Have to leave soon to pick up a family member from the airport. That's always fun. Dave, it's always good. You're gonna go do that. Very, very cool. And then, and Andrew has a question about seeding and fungicides. It says, with new seeds, are most fungicides safe to use, or can they mess up the germination process? All the watering seems to have brought on a little red thread. Yeah, so what you can try doing, Andrew, to answer your first question, no. Most fungicides, or at least like acelepryn and propiconazole, should not have an adverse effect on, new grass or new seedlings that you're trying to grow in. And as far as the watering, bringing on red thread, if you back off the watering, that should help clear things up a bit. So here's what I might do. If you can, before throwing fungicide at the problem, I might try lowering how much water you're putting on the lawn by just a little bit and seeing if that helps things. You know what I mean? Because you already know what's causing it. Yes, you can apply a fungicide, and it likely will help. But you know that it's due to watering, meaning that, so let's play with it a little bit. Let's try backing the amount of water you're putting down on the lawn just a little bit, and seeing if that helps with reducing the amount of red thread that you're seeing. I did see a little bit of that when I was seeding my lawn, when I overseeded with Arden 15 earlier this spring. And as soon as I stopped doing that, as soon as I stopped watering like a crazy person, the lawn was fine. So yes, you can do it, but if you want my advice, I would just try and back off the watering a little bit, since that's really the root of the issue, what's causing the problem. All right, Frederick Duke is in the house. What's up? Frederick? Thanks for coming to hang out. And Lois H is in the house. Hey, Lois. Hey, I got the products you sent. I actually used some of them, so I can't know I'm not sure how quickly they're going to work, but you can look at my skin and you can tell me if you see a difference. Probably too soon to tell, but I did get that stuff. Thank you so much. I really, really do appreciate it. And looking forward to seeing the results. Right? Because hey, if I'm going to be on here, you guys don't want me seeing a troll, right? While I'm out doing the live stream. So I appreciate the kind gesture. Thank you so much. All right, next up we got Clayton Wilson in the house. Clayton, you changed? Oh no, you're same avatar. I thought you changed it, but it's the same. He says, "Happy Friday, Ron. I was hit with spring dead spot at the beginning of this season. Is it too early to treat for that now to prevent it in the spring?" No, actually, now is when you want to be doing that, Clayton. So 2 things when it comes to spring dead spot. Kind of like you, I found out that I had gotten some this year. So the 2 things you can do to help prevent that are, one, managing how much nitrogen you're putting into the lawn during the fall months. So during the fall. So right now, you really need to be backing off on as far as adding any high-end fertilizers or just the amount of N's you're putting into the lawn. So that's thing 1. And then also 2, putting down a preventative fungicide. So you can put 1 down now, like you can do like headway now. If you have access, or if you want to get another fungicide that's from a different group, a different mode of action to do a month later. So like a good example, right? In a perfect world, I would have applied Headway G last weekend, which is what I did. And then like a month from now or 28 days from now, I would apply another fungicide that was not in either of the families of azoxystrobin or propiconazole. But I want to see what happens. I want to apply the same. I'm going to do the same thing the end of this month, November. And see if that helps. See if that just doing that helps with my results. Really, I should be able to do just 1 app, and that should be enough because I've really backed off the amount of nitrogen that I've been putting in the lawn compared to this time last year. But yeah, to answer your question, applying a fungicide now is like one of the 2 things you can do to help reduce the chances for spring dead spot. One is don't put too much nitrogen in the lawn, and then second, apply a fungicide. I am using Headway G. That's what I did last weekend. If you've been watching my YouTube stories, you would have seen that. And I guess that's one good thing about all the rain, right? It definitely got watered in really, really well. So there's that. So use your fungicide of choice. I like Headway. If you want a link for it, I'll put one in here in the chat for you. And you can grab that. But yeah, your fungicide of choice is what you should be putting down around this time of year to prevent spring dead spot in the spring, to lower your chances of it anyway. All right, next up we got Connor Souls. He says, "I gave the putting green a very hard scalp down to the dirt. Ouchie, ouchie. Hopefully it comes back even nicer. Was putting on it today and had to stand back and admire all the hard work I put in." Isn't that the best though? I mean, here's the thing. If your neighbors can see you, I'm not sure if you're fenced in or not, but if your neighbors see you, they probably think you're crazy. But I am guilty of that. I think most people on this live stream are probably guilty of that. Once you go along, it starts looking kind of nice. I've been out there with my camera. I get out there with the iPhone sometimes, and sometimes I break out my good camera and take some pictures of it at different angles and just sit back and just look at it and enjoy how the lawn's looking. So yeah, you are not you're not crazy, Connor. And if you are, you're among friends. This is a safe area. Okay, you're in a safe area, safe place. Next up, we got Mark F from Arizona. He says, "Hey, nice temps in Arizona finally. Threw down perennial ryegrass today." So, Mark, what is the idea of good temps in Arizona? I guess I could look here really quick. But what kind of temperatures are you guys seeing in Arizona this time of the season? All right, DD's is awesome. He says, "Hey, peeps. Did you guys know that every time the like button is pressed ever so gently," he left the ever so gently part out, ever so gently, a weed in Ron's lawn dies? thumbs up, everyone. So there you go. If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna take a sip of my lemonade. I know we're a little early, but yeah, you touch that like button ever so gently. You can help do your small part for killing weeds in Ron's lawn, according to Dee Dee's. Great stuff. All right, we have a question here from Brett Bostrom. I think you're new to the chat or the live stream, Brett. He says, does an early fall scalp make sense? I'm not sure what you'd be hoping to accomplish with that, Brett. So when I think about scalping, I think about like Bermuda or Zoysia, like lawns that or grass types you're gonna be cutting really short. It makes sense in the spring for Bermuda or warm season grass. I would say no. If you have like a cool season lawn and you're trying to lower the height of cut, you can begin working that down if you want. If it's a grass type that will tolerate it. So if you have like a ryegrass or a KBG, you can begin lowering the height of cut. If you have a real mower and you're committed to the mowing that it takes to kind of maintain shortcut turf, then yeah, you can begin doing that. But when I think the word scalp, I don't see. That's not a term I normally hear. Cool season people doing, as far at least not to the level that us warm season guys do. Like some of us in the spring will take our lawns down to the dirt, right? Just above dirt, and it all grows back in. With cool season lawns, I've not seen that to be as much of a thing. So it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I don't know what kind of grass you have. I'm not sure what you're trying to do with the scalp. So it's difficult to answer the question, but hopefully I gave you some food for thought on that. All right, next up we got Paris Dhruv. Okay, says, how to make your grass green when it's all gray. It depends on why it's gray, Paris. I mean, if it could be a lack of water, it could be lack of iron or just nutrients in general, like lack of, the macronutrients, like your nitrogen, potassium, your phosphorus. It could be a lot of things. If you can fill in and let us know a bit more, like what you've been doing to the lawn, that will help answer that question. But I mean, the things that I think about are inadequate water, and then also putting some fertilizer on the lawn to help feed it. Between those two things, assuming there's nothing else really crazy going on with the lawn, that should be enough to begin getting the lawn to green up. So definitely let us know below, like what exactly you're dealing with. All right, next up we have Mr. Larry Tran in the house. What's going on, Larry? He says, love your channel content. I appreciate that, sir. Thanks so much for coming to hang out. He says, I'm wrapping up my overseeding process. Want to level my lawn. Should I do it in the fall or should I wait till spring? In San Diego, SoCal. So I'm assuming that with you being in San Diego / SoCal, you probably have warm season grass. I'm imagining. Or primarily warm season grass, and I guess you're doing just a fall overseed. If it were me, Larry, I would wait until the spring to do it. So like Bermuda is your dominant, or some warm season grass is your primary grass type. I would do the lawn leveling in the springtime. So, late April, early May, that's a good time. Really late April all the way through June is like a good window for leveling your lawn. That is what I would do, because if you have Bermuda, and I'm answering this question like you have Bermuda starts to grow really aggressively once temps start rising. So as far as just having the largest margin of safety of nothing bad happening, I would just wait till the spring for your lawn leveling. That's what I would do. Hopefully that helps, man. And sounds like you're pretty hardcore, man. You're overseeding, so that's you're obviously already into the process to some extent. You're not a lawn newbie at all. But yeah, for me, wait till the spring. That is what I would do. All right, Frederick Duke says, what fungicide do you recommend for the fall? I'm using Headway, Frederick. So I'm using the azoxystrobin and propiconazole combo. If you want to, you can just use Heritage. Really, for spring dead spot, I'm pretty sure that's correct. If memory serves me, Heritage or just azoxystrobin is really all you need as a preventative for that. But I'm using Headway because I just want to have two modes of action. I want to have as good coverage as I possibly can. So that's why I'm going with that. But either Heritage or Headway are good options. There are other options from other manufacturers too, but those are the two that I've actually used and are most familiar with. So that's what I'd recommend. And if you're looking for that, I'll drop some links here in the chat for you, so you can take a look at that. Or you could read through the labels and decide which one is right for you. As you can imagine, the Headway is going to be the more expensive of the two, right? Because it's you're getting two fungicides in one. But Works really well. All right, next up we got Robert Kelly saying that he loves this. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. Because there's some people that hate this, but so I like it when I hear that there's a faction that loves the live stream. So I appreciate you coming in, and most importantly, let me know that you are enjoying us spending some time talking about grass. Very cool. So Alex has got another comment. He's saying, has not rained much in the last month or so up here in New Jersey. In the beginning of my seeding reno, I preferred it so I could better control the watering, but would definitely take some now. Yeah, you wouldn't have liked what we had here in Georgia, man. I mean, it's last night it rained enough that I actually got some puddling, some small like light swimming pools in the back lawn for a while. I mean, it was gone by the time morning rolled around, but it was in that heavy that we got that much water that I actually had some water pooling for a few hours. All right, so Robert has a question. Let me get in here and grab that, where he says, my soil test came back and my soil is basically junk. I mean, I wouldn't say, here's the thing, it's not junk. It may have some challenges, may have some areas for improvement, but I wouldn't call it junk. He says it's mostly clay and lacking all the nutrients. pH is okay. That's like one of the most important things, Robert. So by definition, if your pH is like in the Goldilocks zone, by definition, your soil is not junk. He says, what can I do over the winter to improve my soil quality? I'm not sure where you are, Robert, but it makes me think that I'll answer this if you have warm season grass, like you're my next door neighbor. If you have warm season grass, I really am not going to recommend that you push a lot of nitrogen or anything this late in the season. If you want to put down like a triple 12, like the Yard Mastery that has a bit of everything in it at the rates that they recommend, which is again relatively low rate, you could do that, but nothing crazy. The nice thing is, right, based on your soil test that your pH is in good shape, so that's good. And that starting in the spring, you can do like a heavier application of like a balanced fertilizer like the Yard Mastery Triple 12, and you're going to be addressing everything. I don't think I've seen your soil test results, or if you sent them to me, I don't recall it. But something like this, let me switch over here real quick. Something like this should do the trick, right? So like a starter fert, this has a bit of everything. So it's got all your macros as well as an entire micronutrient stack as well. This is not going to come through on the live stream, but if you look at the label, you can't see it, obviously it's too small, but it has all the micros as well. So something like this, a light application, if you want to kind of get things going, assuming that your lawn hasn't started checking out yet, is something you could do, but really I would wait until the spring before we do any really heavy renovations as far as adding a lot of nutrient to the soil. Now, if you have cool season grass, then you can do like a full application of that. You're good to go, because this is like your go time if you have a cool season lawn. So warm season, very light app, kind of like you're closing out the season fertilizer application. If you have cool season, then you can go at full rate, and you can begin correcting things now. But the big thing to get understand is that you've got the data, right? So don't look at your, I hate whenever I get soil test results from people and they say, oh, my soil is trash, it's never going to be any good. And it's like anything else. It's like when you go to the doctor. Like, I'm a relatively healthy person, right? But I go to the doc and they say, hey, your cholesterol is a little bit high. They might tell me that. I mean, I don't think mine is. They're not told me that anyway, but they might say that's a little bit high, right? Based on that, it's not something I'm going to be able to fix in an hour or a month, but I know that, hey, going forward, I can, cut back on the Chick-fil-A, as difficult as it is to do that, because, I'm on a first name basis with them. And I can start making changes in lifestyle over time that is going to slowly correct the problem. Soil is the same way. Soil is the same way. You're not going to be able to just throw something at it and make a huge change in a very quick manner. And it's not the way to do it. I wouldn't recommend that. You want to slowly correct things over time. So hopefully that helps. Great comment, great question. I am glad you got a soil test done, which is awesome. And now we have the data to make things better. So that's all good stuff, right? All good stuff. All right, next up we got Ismail Flores, says, best kind of grass for Southern California. I've been struggling with my backyard. Looks great in the spring and the summertime. It looks great in the spring, and then the summertime comes around and kills it. So it sounds like you may have some kind of a cool season grass, Ismail. I don't, here's the thing, I'm not in Southern California, but I know there are people in SoCal that run warm season grass like Bermuda, like Zoysia. And what you're doing is you're trading one for the other, right? So here's the thing you got to realize. If you go with something like Bermuda or Zoysia, what you're getting is a green lawn between late March, April, all the way into September, October-ish. Now that's your go time for Bermuda. But outside of that, it kind of looks like what you're talking about. Doesn't look very good. It checks out, looks dormant, it's gonna look spotty, it's just not gonna look that great, right? It's the same thing for cool season grass, with the exception that with cool season grass, you get really like 2 seasons. You get a green up in the spring where things look really nice and lush. And then when the summer heat comes along, most cool season grass, it's too much stress for it. Like most people can't put enough water on it to keep it nice. So that tends to go dormant or fall off during the summer, and then during the fall it recovers and looks nice again. So you have to decide which one you really want. Given that you're in SoCal, I would lean more towards a warm season grass. That's what I would go with, something like Bermuda or Zoysia. Also, because I'm a warm season guy, so I'm a little bit biased towards warm season grass. But yeah, what you're seeing is not abnormal, I guess is what I'm trying to help you to appreciate. And if you change the grass type out, you're trading one time of the year being green for another time of the year being green. You see what I'm saying? There's no free lunch. There's no grass, at least not that I'm aware of anyway, that is green like year round when you have temperature swings. Like if you're in the Caribbean, grass is always green because grass is always green there. It's like 68 degrees, 70 degrees. We don't have the wild temperature springs that you do here in the United States. But if you have like an actual winter and an actual summer that's really hot and really cold, for each of those seasons, then you're going to have some challenges with the grass being good or not so good, depending on your grass type. All right, Demir is in the house, and Demir, we got to get together, man. I'm seeing your handle. I know I have to Instagram you. I know you're finishing up with that tournament you were mentioning. Was it last week? So I didn't want to bug you this week, but you got to let me know on Insta when you're free, and we'll have to make it happen. I'd like to have you on, man. It'd be cool to like I said, to talk to a turf pro and hear all the craziness and all the fun stuff that goes into creating an amazing golf course. Great stuff. Thanks for coming to hang out, sir. I really do appreciate it. All right, let me scroll down really quick here and grab some super chats. I got a couple of them. One from Mr. Ben Ranham. Do that. Super chat received. Thanks so much, Ben. I really appreciate you coming to hang out. And then we have Cedric G, who always calls me the mad scientist for some reason. Received. He says, "Mad scientist, I touched the like button ever so gently. Can't wait to see what next season has in store. Turfs up, for down, stripe action forever." That's right. That's how we do it. Here's what's going to happen. Now, I hate to say, that I'm not going to top dress next year, or there's not going to be any major projects next year. Because I said the same thing last year, right? And you guys saw how that happened. And Alex is already starting to come around. Alex is not a good accountability partner. Like right after we finished top dressing, he was like, "Never again, we're done." And just a couple of weeks ago, we were talking just on the sidewalk after he was mowing his lawn. He said, maybe a small top dress, a spot top dress. So, something will probably happen next year. And of course, I'm going to film it, and you guys can be along for the ride. So I appreciate all the love and support over the season, Cedric. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. All right. Alex is saying it's definitely amazing if the appropriate steps are taken, how quickly cool season grass can recover and look great in the autumn. Yeah, I mean, look at Vera's lawn, man. I mean, this lawn was looking, it had some challenges. We're going to say that lawn has some challenges, and that's what it looks like now. That's pretty awesome, right? So yeah, my lawn doesn't look like that right now. So it's, cool season grass definitely can do well with the right love. And Alex is saying, I appreciate this, Alex. He says, anyone with socials, please share the stream using the share button. I appreciate it, Alex. Thank you so much for that. Let me take some of my lemonade while we go for the next comment. All right. Next up, we got Kelby Ruiz in the house. He says, Ron, I fought all year with leaf hoppers in the front yard. Bifin IT works for about a day. Then a week later, it's back to being infested. Lawn looks great. Will they hurt my lawn? What would you do? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by leaf hoppers, Kelby. I would say this, right? If the grass isn't showing stress, like you think about how a lawn looks when it's infested with army worms, right? Like when army worms are in a lawn, you can tell because it absolutely destroys the lawn very, very quickly, turns brown. You can see the edges of the grass being all eaten up and chewed up. If you just have the leaf hoppers, again, I'm not familiar with that insect. If you just have them just buzzing around the lawn, but the grass looks good, then it's not something that I would say necessarily to worry about too much. You know what I mean? If the grass is looking like it's dying or it's being stressed, then we could look into it. But if the grass looks fine and all you're dealing with are like, some bugs that you just don't like, I might just let it ride. I'll do some research onto that, and we can make it a talking point for next week. It's a great question. So leaf hoppers, is that the actual name? So if I Google leaf hoppers, that's going to be a thing. All right, we'll find out, Kelby. I'll take it as a research topic for next week. And on the topics of research, I've had a couple of viewers that have Bahia grass and have asked what they can use on Bahia. And there's a selective herbicide called Surge. I've asked a couple of my buddies around, because one around here, not a lot of people have Bahia, but I've asked some friends of mine that that treat that grass type and asked them what selective herbicide is safe for it, not going to damage the grass, and is relatively easy to apply. And several of them came back with Surge. So if any of you guys have Bahia grass and you're looking for something that's along the lines of Celsius, sort of, but it is safe for Bahia, a herbicide called Surge is what you can go with. And I will actually put that in the chat here. So any of you guys that do have Bahia, or what we'll do is I'll put it in the chat now, and after the live stream is over, I'll also put that in the description of this content. So if anyone that's watching this after the fact, you'll be able to find it. So let me do that now. So Bahia selective, and that one. As always, read the label. Make sure you follow the instructions. But that's an option for you guys. So I've been getting a lot of questions about that, and it's something that I needed to talk about. So I did. We're good to go. All right. Next up, we have Andrew77 says, also meant to ask, is Humic Max slow or fast release? Looking to try that from you next season. It is 35% slow release and 65% quick release, Andrew. And I'll show you here really quick how you can tell. So let me see if I can pull the label up here. So Golf Course Lawn Store, and then Humic Max. If you want to know when you're looking at a fertilizer label, what percentage of it is slow release and which percentage is quick release, I'm not sure. Yeah, there we go. We can punch in here real quick. All right. The slow release nitrogen is going to have, do you guys see the asterisk there? I can't really move it because if I move my mouse, it'll go off of it. But you see this, the asterisk that's after 1.4% water soluble nitrogen, and the other one says other water soluble. So if you scroll down and you look down like right in here, it says slowly available nitrogen from methylene ureas. So on pretty much all of us should have this, but on a bag of fertilizer, if you look and you see the asterisk next to the nitrogen, and you look down at the footnote, it'll tell you what percentage of it is slow release. And when it comes to Humic Max, it's 35%. 35% is slow, 65% is quick, which is why it works really good for a spoon feeding program. So if you want to apply fert to your lawn, a granular fert to your lawn, monthly, every 4 or 6 weeks, that type of cadence, Humic Max will work great for that. So hopefully that helps answer your question. And now you know how to figure out on how to determine what percentage of a fertilizer is slow release when you look at other bags. So great stuff. And I think you will like it, Andrew. If you decide to try it out, I think you'll enjoy it. I have yet to get the email. I'm still waiting for it. It might happen tomorrow, but I have yet to get an email from anyone that's tried out Humic Max and came back and said, hey man, I tried it. Didn't work well. My lawn didn't look any better. No differences at all. Because Lebanon makes some really good stuff, man. They're serious about their fertilizer. So I think you'll like it. All right. Next up, we have Tutrilla in the house. Tutrilla1 says, hey Ron, I'm thinking about cutting down a tree in my front yard during winter. Would it be okay to resod, or should I wait till spring? So I'm guessing that you have, I'm going to answer the question if you have like warm season grass. If you want to cut it down during the winter, you can. As far as putting in sod, you also can as well too. But if you want the sod, if you just want to have things match and just give yourself the biggest chance for success, I would wait until spring. Now, the reason why I say you can do it now if you want is literally around here, like the subdivision that I'm in, literally year round, they are sodding these lawns. And all the lawns are Bermuda. Literally all of them are Bermuda. And my lawn was sodded like in the middle of winter. And you guys see how it looks, right? So Bermuda is very, very hardy. It does really well as long as you put some water on it when you're putting the sod in. But if it were just me, I would wait until, let's say if you did it in early spring. So you cut the tree down, say like late February, early March, and then do the sod then. Then you're entering the growing season. There's going to be some warm temperatures coming in. The lawn's going to root in better. It's just going to be better. Like I can't really see what you're gaining by doing it now versus doing it, 4 or 5 months from now. I would wait till the spring if it were me. So great question. All right, next up, he's another point here. He says, hey Ron, thanks so much for the shout out of our lawn up here in upstate New York. My husband Thurston and I appreciate all your lawn expertise. Thanks again. All right, yeah, Vera, thanks for sending me the pictures. She sent me the pictures, and she's like, I was like, man, your lawn looks. I wrote her back. Said, your lawn looks amazing. Looks incredible. She's like, is it good enough for the live stream? I'm like, yeah, it looks awesome. I mean, come on now. I mean, yes, you can have. I mean, warm season cool season grass can look good, but I think most people will be happy with a lawn that looks like that. So absolutely, got to show it off. Got to show off all your accomplishments, right? It's great stuff. So whatever you and hubby are doing to the lawn, keep it up. Keep up the hard work, because obviously it is working and is beginning to pay off. All right, next up we got Rockfish Steve has a question. He says, hey, when I mix up a batch of Certainty and Celsius, how long is the mix still good for? We'll try to apply with a hand spray bottle for spot spraying, mostly for a second application. No, I wouldn't do that. I would, Steve, on the label, I don't recall how long it actually can sit for. I know most herbicides, the best way to go is to mix what you intend to use. I would not mix up a ton of it and just have it laying around for a long time. A good example is like a herbicide called Negate. Whenever you mix it, you take it and you mix it into like the intermediate mix. It's like 2 steps. You mix the entire thing into an intermediate mixture, and you kind of dole that out to apply to the lawn. That intermediate mixture is really only good for 4 to 6 weeks. That's what the manufacturers told me when I was talking to them about it. For Certainty and Celsius, I'm not sure that like how long that the effectiveness will last, but I would just mix what you intend to use. In other words, let's just do your spot spray, mix like a gallon or 2 gallons of it, whatever you need just to spot spray your lawn. Do that, and the next time you need to spot spray again, which will be probably a month down the road, just mix up another small batch and do it again. Then I wouldn't mix it up and just have it sitting in the garage for a month. I wouldn't do that. Check the labels for each of them and see if it says anything about like restrictions around how long you can keep it sitting mixed up. But given the fact that we are also mixing 2 different herbicides, in other words, if the Certainty label says, hey, yeah, you can mix Certainty with water and surfactant, and it'll sit for like 2 weeks and be just fine. Keep in mind, like we are also mixing Celsius with we're also mixing Celsius with it as well too. So we're complicating things by adding another another herbicide in with that. And the label is not going to say, hey, if you mix Celsius also and Certainty, it can last for 2 weeks. They're not gonna do that. So I would mix what you intend to use it, and then whenever you do your follow up, then mix up another batch again. So that would be my recommendation. It's not that hard to mix either. It comes with measuring containers. It's not that difficult to do. So that is what I would go with, Rockfish. Hopefully that helps. All right, Kevin Sheehan is in the house. He says, hey, all the Bermuda is still green, cut and watering in half this week. So hi, all the Bermuda is still green, cut watering half this week. Yeah, I think you are, where in the country are you, Kevin? If you're anywhere near where I am, you probably didn't have to water at all. Like I haven't watered. I can't tell you the last time I watered my lawn. I can't tell you the last time I actually ran irrigation. Actually, no, I can't tell you. Like after I put down my pre-emergent, I ran like an irrigation cycle then. But as far as like watering for watering's sake, like to give the lawn moisture, but putting some hydration into it, I haven't had to do that for I don't think maybe a handful of times the entire month of September, and none this month at all because we've been getting crazy amounts of rain. All right. Andrew77, he says, even for cool season grasses, getting a bit late in the day for seeding. In my area in New Jersey, the growth pretty much stops late October, early November. Yeah, so really as far as seeding in the fall goes, September is when you want to do that, like early September. That's your go time to get that seed down and get the process going. Great comment. I appreciate that, Michael. And then next up says, Michael Pedroza says, how important are ground temps? I am seeding a full renovation of turf-type tall fescue tomorrow in SoCal, 75 degree soil temps. I mean, it is important, like with Bermuda, with RN15 anyway, like the label calls for soil temps 65 degrees and up. So yeah, I mean, if you want to optimize your chances and get the best chance for success, you want to read the label, follow the label, and if the turf-type tall fescue you're going to be putting in, that should say something on the label about soil temperatures. In that range sounds pretty good, like 70, low 70s, high 60s. That's a good safe number. So you're likely good to go as far as putting that in. But again, check the label, see if there's any restrictions. If there aren't, 65 to 75 is a good window for seeding. So I think you're going to be just fine, Michael. Because also keep in mind, like temperatures are only on their way down as we progress further into the fall, right? So if you're peaking at 75, it's only going to get cooler here as time goes on. Very good. All right, Dalvin is revealing his secrets. He says, "Yeah, I did 150 pounds of lime and point 0.5, so half a pound of nitrogen, half a pound of the triple 12. So there you go. That I'm not surprised that the lawn looks is looking better, Dalvin. Not because of the lime, but more so because of the triple 12. And I remember, I think your pH was on the low side. So looks like you're adjusting a lot of things, man, late in the season. So good stuff. Very cool. All right, next up, Dave's Lawn Vlogs has a question. He says, what type of disease fungus do you guys try to prevent for Bermuda this time of year? Spring dead spot is what I'm trying to keep out of my lawn, but it's not really going to show its face now, Dave. It's something that is going to show up if it happens in the spring. So spring dead spot, spring dead patch, you take care of that in the fall with a preventative fungicide, as well as like really being careful as far as how much nitrogen you're putting into the lawn. And if you get it all right, hopefully when springtime rolls around, you're not going to have a big circle in your lawn that's dead for no apparent reason, like I had earlier this year. So that's the main thing. Yeah, as far as other diseases, I can't think of really any other diseases that really are common to Bermuda this time of year, assuming you're not doing anything crazy, right? Like if you're like, some people are doing like lots of watering, excessive amounts of watering to try and get like grass seed to germinate. With that, you could get some red thread. You might get, in some worst cases, maybe even pythium. But as a general rule, in the fall, Bermuda tends to do pretty well. It's really in the summertime, like late spring, early summer, that that brown patch can become an issue in Bermuda. Dollar spot can also become an issue, but really, dollar spot in Bermuda, just throw some nitrogen at it, and that usually takes care of it. But yeah, during the fall, there's not a ton outside of trying to prevent issues for the following spring. All right. Let's see. Next we got Alex B says, agree, Ron, on the watering. Has to be done that way for new seed. Almost ready to start scaling back for deeper and less often with this stage of new growth. Very good. And then Tiffany says, I got all my germination for the season. Looks amazing. So thanks for that, Tiffany. I appreciate the comment. And then next up, Mr. Jinwan Park is back again and says, my liquid app is 0.25 pounds of N per, yeah, that's so liquid, that's quite a bit. A quarter pound of N per 1K. It's a granular ammonium sulfate that's been liquefied with warm water. Do I wait till it's completely at room temperature before I spray? I think it's more the amount that you're spraying, Jinwan. Like a quarter pound of nitrogen, not that much if it's a granular, but if you're doing that in liquid form, that's a pretty good jolt. Like a good example is not Humimax, the Turfplex. Like their highest rate is a quarter pound of N, and that requires you put down like 15 ounces of this stuff per 1,000. So I would back it down. I would try backing down the amount of nitrogen you're putting in your lawn from liquid and seeing if that helps. That can, what you're saying is, I'm not surprised at that, because again, that's a pretty good amount. That's a fair amount of nitrogen to put on the lawn in liquid form. With your ammonium sulfate, you're not watering that in afterwards. You're not watering that in to get that down. Because I know, like, if you go like straight urea and you put that in, and if you use that, apply that in liquid form, you do want to water that in, or you'll burn the grass. With ammonium sulfate, I'm not sure, but I would try backing it down, man. That seems like a lot to me to be doing regularly, and your grass is kind of telling you that it's not liking it. So let's try reducing it just a little bit and seeing if that helps. All right. Higgy Pop is in the house saying, hello all, what's going on, Higgy Pop? He says, happy Friday, hit the like button. I appreciate you, sir. Thanks for coming to hang out in the lawn. And then we have Demir91 chiming in. He's coming to the rescue, talking about heavy iron apps and seedlings. And he says, Andrew77, I spray seedlings with a soluble iron at 14%, never had a problem. That's like Kentucky bluegrass. Also, propiconazole is actually really beneficial to seedlings. Also sprayed 3336F on seeding with no issues at all. So there you go. You have someone that's a turf grass professional, an actual certified turf grass pro, telling you that iron, good to go, and fungicide, no problems at all. So thanks for that, DMare91. I really appreciate it. Thank you for chiming in, sir. Always like having you in the live stream. All right, next up we have Richard I'm messing up your name here. Richard Pisarski. I think I got it right. If not, I apologize. says, is it okay to use triple 12 on newly sodded KBG in Michigan? It was installed 10 days ago. The application rate says to use 10 pounds per 1,000 square feet. Yeah, that's 10 pounds per 1,000 square feet. That seems a bit high, Richard. Seems a bit on the high side. Can you put down triple 12? Yes. Can you put it down at 10 pounds per 1,000 square feet? That seems it might actually I might be wrong on that. It might be okay. It seems a bit on the high side to me. Richard, that's almost 1.2 pounds of nitrogen. That's quite a bit. I would go, if you're gonna do it, I would go lighter. I wouldn't go that heavy if it were me. I would go literally half that rate. So yeah, should be good to go. But yeah, I would just back the rate down. I wouldn't go that heavy. That seems a bit high to me to go on, especially on new grass. All right, next up we got Wise Guy in the house. Let's see. Hopefully he's not giving me any harassment about Zoysia. Hopefully he's being nice tonight. He says, "Hey Ron, I'm in the lawn listening on my Bluetooth AirPods. What's the latest? You applied your last small amount of nitrogen. I want to apply 3-18-18 this week. I applied mine this past Saturday, so tomorrow will be 1 week since I did my last nitrogen app. And again, can you do another one another light one in October? Probably. You probably could and be just fine. But I am just I'm really focusing on trying to prevent spring dead spot next year. So just out of an abundance of caution, I'm trying to back off on the end a little bit earlier in the fall than I normally would. If you want to apply a 3-18-18, that's not very much nitrogen. So again, I just apply it, at the label rate. If you want to go a little bit lighter, you can do that too. But given what you're showing there, that should be absolutely fine. I'm guessing, Wise Guy, that your lawn does need the phosphorus. That's why you're doing the 18% there. Because if not, we want to avoid doing that. We don't want to be putting down phosphorus unless we absolutely need it. But yeah, the 3% nitrogen should be good to go this time of year. No problem. No worries at all with that. All right, next up, we have Mr. Troy Ridley in the house. He says, "Hey, Ron, I will be doing my end of the season soil test tomorrow. I will send you my results, Central Texas, Bermuda. I did my soil test as well last Saturday before I did my fertilization and the headway. Actually, I got the soil test here, my registration right here. I'll cover up my barcode because I actually haven't registered yet. But yeah, this is the actual label that came out of my soil kit that I use on the lawn. I got to get that registered with them. So whenever they do put my results in, I'll be able to check it out. But yeah, good job, Troy, getting that soil test done. Once you get them, send them my way and I will take a look. I will most definitely take a look. I appreciate that, sir. All right. Yeah, he's very appreciative. He says, nice at Demir. I have different opinions and experiences on iron and seedlings. But yeah, you're talking to someone that, again, especially someone that knows cool season grass really well, because that's what he works on. And I've seen his lawn. It's pretty baller. It's a pretty nice lawn. Really, really good looking lawn. So yeah, definitely follow his advice. All right, next up, we got Keith Green in the house. He says, I applied Humichar and 007 pre-emergent in the last week to the Bermuda. Is it okay to follow up with Milorganite as rain is in the forecast? Sure, Keith. Milorganite is light. I mean, are you going to use the Milo as your last fert app of the season? You're trying to give the lawn a little nitrogen kick, a little green kick before you shut things down. I mean, Milo should be fine. There's not a whole lot in it, and you should be fine to use Milorganite if you have to scratch that itch as far as putting down some fertilizer on the lawn. That's a pretty safe one as far as that goes. All right, I got a couple of super chats here. Let me roll down here. We have the two consistent troublemakers here in the live stream. First, Mr. LG sponsoring the 8 or the 7 p.m. sip.
Super chat received.
Just good evening, kind sir. Thanks for all you do for us. Time to sponsor the 7 p.m. sip. I will drink to that. So if you guys wouldn't mind touching that like button ever so gently while I take a sip of my lemonade, it's free for you guys to do. It's a great way to support the channel, and sends good vibes to the algorithm, all that good jazz, and gets more people coming our way. So I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much, LG. I appreciate the support. And then the man, the myth, the legend, a couple of those, but one of the men, the myth, the legends, Mr. Josh Habib is at the house. He says, happy Friday, doctor. I need to get my coastal down. Been busy and have been procrastinating. Send some lawn motivation my way. I've been slipping. I'm ready for winter. Hope you're doing well. Life is good. It is good, man. Yeah, you just got to get out there and just get it done, man. Just get it done. It doesn't take that long to get the coastal down, and you want to do it because if you don't, you're going to really be hating things in the spring. So you really want to get something down to prevent POA and other nastiness. And on the topic of Josh Habib, guys, why don't we talk about a giveaway that we'll do next week? But I'll tell you guys what we're going to be giving away. Josh sent me these cool magnets. So they are like refrigerator magnets or toolbox magnets. I mean, you have to have something that's like steel, something that'll stick to. Sent some of these to me in the mail. Thank you so much for that, Josh. It's really awesome. So we'll be giving one of these away next week. Maybe two of them are away next week, along with a couple other things. Some hats I have here. So just stay tuned towards the end of the show to know what you need to do for that. But I did get them, Josh. Thanks again. I appreciate the support. So if you're looking to get a hat to wear or a cool refrigerator magnet, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Next up, we got Mr. Alexander Thomas in the house saying, "What's up, Ron? What's going on, Alex? Hopefully you're doing okay. Hope you're doing well." And next up, we have Ogsan. He says, "Hey there, Ron. Happy Friday, everyone. Thinking about aerovating next season. What are your thoughts?" I don't know what aerovating is. That's an interesting. That's a new one. I gotta make a note on that. What is aerovating? So I guess it's like something to do with air. I mean, aero, but I don't know what the vating part is. So I will have to. I'll have to take that on as a research topic. What aerovating is? And you said, "What are your thoughts?" And you said it actually is aerovating. So in case I thought like you meant aerate, yes. So I got you, Oxan. But I don't know what aerovating is, so I can't really speak to it, man. I'll do some research and then I will give you my thoughts. It's probably something that's fairly useful, but also probably likely very uncommon. Because I've not seen any YouTube content that I can think of anyone aerovating their lawn. But well, I'll dig into it. I will dig into it, sir, and then I will be able to give you my thoughts on aerovation, assuming that's a correct word. I would imagine so. Okay, and then Andrew says, "I will try watering less before fungicide, Ron. As we all know, the new seed requires a lot of water, but I will try to back off a bit." It does require water, but a better way to look at it is it requires that you don't allow the ground to dry out, right? So, like a good example is if it rains that day, you probably don't need to water, because as long as the ground, the soil is looking like hydrated, it's not drying out looking like a desert, you're probably going to be just fine. You will be just fine. It's not no problem about it. So I wouldn't necessarily say that I have to pound the lawn with water, tons and tons of water to get things to germinate. You just want to make sure that there's enough hydration that the seed just never dries out, the soil doesn't dry out while it's germinating. But at the same time, you have to balance that, because you can create the kind of problems that you were talking about as far as things like red thread. So yeah, it's a good idea. I would back it off first before we start throwing fungicides at it. All right, Kelby Ruiz has a question about soil testing. He says, "Soil test now or at the start of next season? Does the winter affect the soil results if I test later?" It depends on what you're trying to do, Kelby. There's some people that never test their soil at all. There's some people that test at the beginning of, again, for warm season grass, they test at the beginning of the season, so like February, March, and some people that test in the fall, like now. And there's some people that are crazy like me and test every 3 months, right? It depends what you're trying to get out of it. I'm a fan of testing at the end of the season, assuming you did a test at the beginning of the season, because it gives you good data to know how all the applications that you did to the lawn over the course of the growing season, like how they change the soil makeup, if at all. Maybe sometimes there's no change, right? But I like to have that data to know that, hey, I know this is where I started. Well, in my case, I know where I was in June. How do things look now in October based on everything I've been doing since then? So it depends. It's up to you. I mean, if you want to wait until the spring and do it, and then just start and then applying accordingly, you can do that as well too. The only thing I might say is if your lawn has lower pH, your soil has lower pH, and you wanted to get a lime app down and you're kind of on the fence or whether or not you need to do that, like having the data now to know that what your pH is at gives you more time to address it. But outside of that, yeah, that's the only thing I could really think of. If your pH is not in the optimal zone, that is one good argument for doing a soil test in the fall to get information that will help you next spring. But if you're confident that you're fine, you can wait till the spring, see what it says, and then just fertilize accordingly. So either way can work. Either way can work. It just depends on which way you want to go. Great question. All right, next up we have Vitaly Yurinchenko in the house. He says, "Finally pull the plug and join the powered reel mower gang." Before I read the rest of the comment, we got to clap it up for that. Got to happen. It's got to happen. He says, "I was able to pick up a True Cut today. I know I'm late to the season, but I am already excited to use it next season. You got one, man. Here's the thing. You just look at it this way, Vitaly. You got it. You can start it up, make sure everything works well with it. And you're not going to be one of those people when springtime rolls around trying to find one, right? You're already set. You're already good. So what I would recommend, yeah, I'm not sure if it's a brand new one or not. It doesn't really matter. If you got one pre-owned, right, and you haven't freshened it up yet, you haven't sharpened it, wait until you do your first scalp. Assuming you're going to scalp. If you're going to scalp, then follow my advice. If you're not going to scalp, then don't do it. Then just ignore what I'm saying. So if you have no plans on scalping, getting the mower sharpened, getting it freshened up, oil change, fresh spark plug in, all that kind of stuff. Get that stuff done a little bit earlier, like or during the winter when those places aren't that busy. So you're not like backed up whenever they are. When springtime rolls around. That's a good plan if you're not planning to scalp the lawn in the spring. If you are planning to scalp the lawn in the spring, I would scalp it first using the mower as it is, and then send it in for service. Because scalping is really hard on the reel and bed knife. It tends to, as far as depending on how low you're getting, you can ruin the edge. So if you're gonna scalp, wait till after that to get the mower, the reel and bed knife sharpened and freshened up. But congrats, man. I am excited for you. I still have my True Cut, still love it, still cuts great. And you will really enjoy it. Assuming you have the time to mow, you're gonna really like the results you get with that mower. It's a great piece of kit. Very, very nice. All right, next up we got Dan R in the house. He has a question. He says, "Hey Ron, Bermuda lawn in South Texas. Crabgrass has taken over. What's the best plan to get rid of it over the winter? Kill the whole yard and seed in the spring. Cut it out and resod. No idea what to do." So the crabgrass should start hating life here pretty soon once temperatures start dropping, Dan. What I would do, like you're in South Texas, so your lawn hasn't gone dormant yet. What I would do is I would actually go after the crabgrass now. And I wouldn't kill off the entire lawn. I would go after the crabgrass. So a couple of options, I'll give you two options. You can go with something like Spectricide, which is a good option. It's easy to use, relatively inexpensive. And has a blend of herbicides that are very good for targeting crabgrass. Like I would start on them now. I mean, granted, they're probably a bit more mature this late in the season, but if there's any baby crabgrass, like this stuff will knock it back. So I'm showing you right here, Spectricide. Like this is a good option, relatively inexpensive. I've seen because the season's coming to an end, they're trying to get rid of a lot of this stuff. So you might actually find it on sale. Normally it's like $10 to $15 a bottle. You might be able to find it for less than that if you go look. So that's a great option for an easy to use product that does pretty well against crabgrass. If you're willing to do a mix and want something that's a little bit more hardcore, you can use a product or herbicide called quinclorac. That works well, but again, like with crabgrass, it's true with most weeds, the earlier in their life that you catch them, the better it is. So if you can treat crabgrass in the first place, pre-emergent, that's the best thing. But if you try to kill them when they're young, you tend to get a better result than if you try and wait later on in the season when they're big and hulked out. It'll take like multiple applications to get rid of them. So quinclorac is a good option if you're looking for something to use that if you want to actually take a stab at damaging them or knocking them back. Now, here's the thing: you don't really have anything to lose, by if you apply it and you've been killing some of them off. That's just less you have to deal with in the spring. One thing I'd also recommend too, if you've not done it as yet, is get a pre-emergent down. Right, like most pre-emergents, like prodiamine, dithiopyr, they're very effective against preventing crabgrass, especially dithiopyr. Dithiopyr is a really good one. So apply those so that crabgrass is less of an issue when next springtime rolls around. That's a good thing versus thinking about ways of targeting it. Just try and prevent it next season altogether. If you want to try out quinclorac, I'll send you a link here at Dan R. Like so, boom, you can go with that. And then Demir, I'm not sure if you had a comment. I just saw you had a comment there. But yeah, if you had anything else you want to weigh in, feel free to do so as well. But yeah, go with either Spectricide or straight quinclorac if you want to give it a go. But again, it's going to be rough this time of the year. As far as pre-emergent, I have a video. I think it's actually my last video that I did. Is on that very topic on pre-emergent that will how to mix it, how to apply it. I give you two different options. So I'll put that in the chat as well for you as well too, Dan. So you can take a look at that video after we get done with the live stream. 'Cause of course you're not going to leave the live stream, right? You're going to continue watching it. You're going to watch this video and it'll show you some pre-emergent options to help prevent crabgrass from being an issue next year in the first place. So hopefully that that helps. I would reserve killing off the entire lawn and reseeding or resodding as a last resort. Again, I haven't seen pictures of it, but I'm based on what you're saying, it sounds like the lawn can be recovered with some hard work. Very, very cool. All right. See, Alex B and Oxan having a sidebar. Very, very cool. And then Fabian Fierro has a question. He says, would you let a bunch of kids play football on that lawn? Yeah. The neighborhood kids have done it. And granted, there's been some fencing that has gone up. Like the neighbors that were building a pool behind me, they got the pool done, so they put a fence in just for safety reasons. So there'll probably be less kids playing on the lawn. But like, yeah, throughout the season over the summer, they've been out there playing football, running around, doing stuff. I just tell them, listen, you can play on it, just don't get hurt. Don't get injured on my lawn. But yeah, here's the thing, man. Like Bermuda especially, they're not going to hurt it. Yeah, they'll put like foot tracks in it and mess up my stripe action, which I'm not a fan of that. But like lawns, kind of like cars, right? Cars are meant to be used. Like nice cars are meant to be used. Lawns are meant to be used. I mean, you should, especially Bermuda. Like you're not going to hurt it. So yeah, there's no issues with that, Fabian. Kids have done it. I don't have an issue with it as long as they just don't get hurt on my lawn. That's my only requirement. Don't get yourself injured. But yeah. All right, next up we got DeG's in the house. He says, what's up, Ron? Just checking in. What's going on, DeG's? I am doing well, sir. Cannot complain. It's a good Friday talking about lawn care, having a grand old time. And then we got Matt Brown saying, great work and info as always, Ron. Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. And then we have, man, I keep trying to, I've given up trying to talk him into coming on the live stream, guys. But I think one day we're going to wear him down. One day we're going to have to get Alex on here. But he's in tonight, hanging out, saying it's finally nice to get a break in the rain and mowed in earlier. So yeah, so he was out there mowing. I mowed when did I mow, Alex? Not yesterday. I think not yesterday. I think the day before yesterday. I was mowing like in the evening time to get the mow done. So yeah, I was like it's literally turning dark as I got my mow in. But yeah, I heard you this morning out there cutting the grass, getting it done. But yeah, Alex is not kidding, man. We've had like a biblical amount of rain here in the last week and just haven't been able to get out and cut the grass. So it's a good thing it happened now and not during the summer, or we'd be like BYD with like 5-inch grass out there, right? So appreciate you chiming in, sir, as always. All right, next up we got Lance F saying, thanks for all your help this year. Lawn looks great. I've learned a lot from you. Thanks again. Ron, your buddy. No problem, man. I'm glad that all the help and the videos and the content was useful, Lance. Appreciate you watching. So always happy to hear that your lawn is doing well. Okay, Austin Beard has a question. He says, hey, Ron, what can I use to suppress or eliminate Bermuda from my tall fescue? When should I apply it? See, I'm not an expert on that one, Austin. I'm not sure if Fusilade will work in fescue. I know people use Fusilade. Fusilade is used for suppressing or killing Bermuda in some cool season lawns. I don't know if fescue is one of the if it's safe for that. So look up a herbicide called Fusilade 2, and see if that can work. That can help with it but as far I don't know off the top of my head what you can use. I mean, whenever the Bermuda's actively growing, you could put down like tenacity. I mean, any herbicide, or not any, but most herbicides that are rated as safe for cool season grass, not all of them, but like tenacity is a good example, that's safe for cool season grass, will damage warm season grass. So like Bermuda, like a good example is tenacity. Tenacity is safe for cool season grass when applied at the correct rates, but it will damage Bermuda and Zoysia. Will it kill it completely? Probably not, but nothing really kills Bermuda completely, not easily anyway. But that just off the top of my head, that's something you could try. There might be something better, but I'm thinking about tenacity is one thing that comes to mind, especially if you're trying to do it this time of year when the Bermuda is still actively growing. So hopefully that helps. All right, next up we have Frederick Juke. He says, what is the application rate for headway, specifically for spring dead spot? I had massive dead spots in my yard this season that filled in, but I want to avoid that next season. I want to say I applied it at right under 2 pounds per thousand, Frederick. I think that's the rate that I use. It's like one, as far as like the rate, it's like the Goldilocks rate. It's like in the 1.8 range, 1.8 pounds, but it's easier just to calculate 2 pounds per thousand because it's like a 15 pound, it's a 30 pound bag. And just go by the the recommended rates on the label as far as like how much of the product to put down, and you should be good to go for that standpoint. Like I did 2 pounds per thousand on my lawn, so that should work well. You can probably get by with a little bit less, to be honest. You probably don't have to really even go that heavy, but that's what I went with on my lawn. So hopefully that helps. And as far as what the spreader setting I used for that, it was a setting of 10, I want to say. I have to go look at the spreader because it's still set to that. But a setting of 10 is what I rolled with, and that gave me really good coverage of the entire lawn, and I had a little bit left over, which is about right given that I have around 11,000 square feet, and that bag at that rate should cover closer to 15-ish thousand square feet. So hopefully that helps, sir. Let me know how you get on. All right. Next up, we have Giovanna. I think you're new, Giovanna. I've not seen you in the live stream before, but if you are new, welcome. It says, I bought a mower that only cuts at a max of height of 3.75 inches. Wow. I have St. Augustine grass and wish to cut at 5 inches. Are there any lift kits or any DIY options for a push mower? That's a great question. There probably are. I don't know of any. I don't have a rotary mower. And I as far as lift kits, I don't know if that's a thing. I know like the Hondas will cut higher than that. I want to say the Toro recyclers, any of the Toro push mowers will cut higher than that. But I don't know, without knowing what kind of mower you have, I can't really recommend any kind of a kit if someone even makes something like that. Worst case scenario, you might have to consider a different mower. But I mean, check around and see if someone makes a kit to raise things up. But the mowers from Toro and the ones from Honda tend to support higher heights of cut, higher than 3 3/4 of an inch for sure. If you want to find out a good mower, take a look at the lawn care nut, Alan Hain. Look at his content. I'm pretty sure he's using like a Toro recycler or a Toro something from Toro, and he has St. Augustine grass, and he's cutting it taller than 3.75 inches. So take a look at his content, and that'll give you a good mower that will definitely work well for St. Aug. But I just don't know of any lift kits, man. I'm just not sure on that one. If anyone knows about that, feel free to drop a comment below. Help Giovanna out, or Giovanni out. I keep calling you Giovanna. Giovanni out, but nothing off the top of my head. All right, Scott Musgrave is in the house. He says, it has rained less than half an inch in the last 2 months in Dallas-Fort Worth. Not here in Georgia. But it balances out though, Scott. Think about it. Remember when you guys were getting like more rain than you knew what to do with over the summer? I think it was over the summer, like the entire state of Texas just got rained on. You got the snowstorm earlier this year, and then you guys got tons, a stint there where you had just tons and tons and tons and tons of rain. So it kind of balances out, right? It kind of balances out. That's the way things work at times. All right, and then Giovanni Garcia has follow-up. He says that Bermuda is invading my Floritam St. Augustine since my neighbor's lawns are Bermuda. Yeah, that's, I was actually making a joke with Alan about that. I was talking to him about it. And he says that in some subdivisions, it's actually, you're not actually allowed to plant Bermuda because it's so invasive. It's so alpha, it's like to hulk out and take over, that it's hard for it to be a good neighborly grass type. So yeah, I get it. I can definitely see that. I can tell you once you plant Bermuda, it goes everywhere. Good luck getting rid of it. All right, Thin Cut's in the live stream. He says, "Hey everyone, just made it home from work. Thanks for coming to hang out, Thin Cut. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming to hang out." And then next, Merrill has a question, a follow up on the 901C. He says, "Hey Ron, do you think it's safe to apply the 901C this late in the season? I have Zoysia that was put down in May. Thanks again." If all you're doing is the 901C, Merrill, sure. What I would not do is do like the 901C and then also do like a heavy granular fertilizer app. Like I wouldn't do that this late in the season. But if you're just doing just that, you're good to go. I think you'll be just fine with that. Just don't double up by doing also a granular as well. And just use the lower rates, like the 901C. If memory serves, like most of the Mirimichi Green liquids, you can do 2 to 7 ounces, I think. I think that's correct. It's got the same rates as Release Zero. Yeah, 2 to 7 ounces. So, just err in the mid range. Like go say like 3 or 4 ounces per 1,000 square feet with a gallon of water, and that's going to give you even a greater margin. So yeah, you should be able to apply that, no problems whatsoever. And let me know how it works out. If you come back in the live stream in a couple of weeks, let us know how your lawn looks. Let's see how your lawn looks. All righty then. Next up, we have A9 Modi from Ohio. I think he says, "Hey Ron from Ohio." I think it's OH. I think OH is Ohio. I'm pretty sure. If not, I'm just looking like an idiot on the live stream. I'm pretty sure it's Ohio. It says front lawn overseeding complete last week with turf type tall fescue. I think he left a T off there, but we'll let it slide. Wish me luck. Backyard, some areas I use Roundup to kill weeds and grass today. How long should I wait for backyard overseeding? I've never used Roundup in that way. I would give it a couple of weeks. A9, I would give it a couple of weeks. It sounds like you used it to just kill off some areas, so you didn't spray the entire thing. So I guess once things are dead, give it 2 weeks and then do your seed and let things go. You should be good to go then. Check the label though. I mean, check the label for Roundup, or also check the label for like a product called I think Ranger Pro. That's another non-selective herbicide that has I think it's pretty much just glyphosate. Like read the label for something like that and see if there's any restrictions around seeding. But yeah, normally a couple of weeks after application, you should be fine. Should be fine. Let us know how it works out, man. May the grass gods shine on your seeding project. Should be fun. And then next up, Andrew says that seems way too high at Giovinazzi Garcia. 5 inches can't be ideal height for any grass. I don't have it myself. It would even fescue is like 3 to 3.5 ideal height. Now, I don't know, Andrew. There's people that cut fescue taller than 3.5 inches. I mean, there's people that cut it 4 inches, 4 to 5. So yeah, you can cut it taller. You can definitely cut it taller than 3.5 inches for sure. That I do know. Is 5 the ideal height? I can't say for sure, but generally for like a St. Aug or other grass types that like to be cut tall, the taller the better. Typically, the mower is the restriction as far as how high you can go when it comes to those types of grass. All right, Dave's lawn vlog is chiming in. He says, jealous, super jealous, not just jealous, super jealous of the low-cut lawns. They really do look more crisp. I like the stripes in the turf. I get in the turf type tall fescue, but man, that real cut is clean. Have a good night. Thanks so much, Dave, for coming to hang out. Yeah, but you don't know everything that goes along with that. Like, you guys that have the tall fescue lawns, like life is easier. Like, you figure, you guys get your lawn stays greener between mowings in most cases. You don't have to mow 3 days a week or three times a week if you're really trying to maintain that really tight cut. You don't have to buy an expensive reel mower and all the maintenance that goes along with reel mower. So kind of like anything else. Yes, the grass looks really cool, but be careful what you wish for, right? There's a reason why, golf courses cost what they cost to play on, and why reel mowers cost what they cost. You know what I mean? So I agree with you. It looks awesome. I prefer that look compared to tall grass, but there's, like anything else, there's a lot that goes along with it, unfortunately. So, but yeah, man, you never know. One day you might come around. You might come around and join the cult of the shortcut grass, man. Could happen. It could happen. All right, next up we have legendary Hanzo. Hanzo, I was thinking of like Hanzo from Samurai Showdown. It says, hey Ron, I am in North Carolina. Is it weird that I have a lot of nutsedge popping up, or am I identifying the weed wrong? You could have nutsedge. You definitely still could have nutsedge this time of year, legendary Hanzo. Send me a picture of it. If you want to see what nutsedge can look like, you have to send me a picture. You can, you can send me a pic so I can write back to you and say, yes, that is nutsedge. Or if you want to confirm that what you're looking at is a sedge of some type, take a look at the video that I did on killing grass, but not killing weeds, where I have a very nice shot of nutsedge in the beginning of that video. Like I can actually run the camera through some nutsedge, and you can actually see what it looks like in a couple other areas. And if what you have looks like that, then it's probably nutsedge. So take a look at that video. In there, you'll see some examples of sedges. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. All right. Let me see what else we got here. Yeah. So Brandon, I think I already answered your question around the sulfur. If anything, I'll look out for a soil test from you to look at that. And then next up we have Thurston. R says, hey Ron, just to clarify, if I applied Headway on September 6th, when I overseeded. Do I need to apply another app now in the fall to avoid any issues come spring? Thanks again for the shout outs. You can, Thurston, or you can wait a little bit. If you're trying to, it depends what you're trying to do. If you're trying to prevent like fungus that is common to cool season grass, and what you did is exactly right? I mean, if you did it as a preventative, you're good to go. If you've not had issues with spring dead spot in your lawn, like you've not had problems with that particular fungus, and because you literally have like big circles, like small, like 10, 12-inch circles in your lawn, sometimes bigger, that are just dead for no reason when springtime rolls around. If you don't have, never had those kinds of issues to where you feel like you need a preventative, then you could do that one application and then call it good, But if you've had issues in the spring with those types of lawn fungus, then doing another application maybe a little bit later on this month is a good idea. So yeah, you did the right thing, especially given the fact that you have cool season grass. And you're very, very welcome. I appreciate you sending me the pictures to show everyone. So that's always awesome. Let me get down here really quick for a super chat that Mr. Patrick in Texas, the great state of Texas, has sent. I appreciate that, Alex.
Super chat received.
He says, went to check my mailbox tonight for a second time, looking for my Turfplex that I ordered. No Turfplex, but was so excited to see a letter from Ron Henry. You're the best. You are very, very welcome, Patrick. Let me know when the Turfplex comes. I mean, if you just ordered it, I can't look now, but hopefully if you ordered it like this week, it should be on its way to you. Worst case, just drop me a link and I'll look it up. I'll look up the order. I haven't gotten any emails from you, I don't believe, about anything being damaged or having to replace anything. So just let me know. Let me know if you've ordered. If it's been more than a week and you haven't gotten it, let me know, and I'll look into it and figure it out. But yeah, man. I every now and then, I like to reach out to viewers, and at least the ones that are supportive, and just ones that just always are just nicer to me than I really deserve. And send you guys some swag. So I appreciate that, Patrick. Thank you for watching the content, and hopefully the Turfplex makes its way to you soon. All right, Luis Rodriguez is in the house. What's going on, Luis? Thanks for coming and hanging out. And then we got Mr. George in the house, Mr. Princess Cut Lawn Care. Says, good evening to you, sir. What's going on? Princess Cut, what's going on? Hope all is going well. For any of you guys that have cool season lawns, especially for like if you're watching the live stream and this is your first time you're getting into lawn care, you got like cool season grass, and you don't want to use like say some of the ferts that I recommend, like the Humic Max or the Turfplex, right? You want something that's really basic, something you can get from your local Home Depot. George, Princess Cut Lawn Care, actually released a video today, like he shows like an awesome before and after, showing how to get a great looking lawn using like store-bought products. He's kind of doing, he's taking a different spin on his content. So if you guys want to go check that out, I'll see if I can dig up a link here to it while I'm typing. It's kind of hard to do, but I'll see if I can find it and put it in the chat. But it's a really good video. I like it because he used reggae music in the video as that vibe. I mean, you guys know me, I'm from the Caribbean, so I like my reggae music. So yeah, definitely go check that out if you guys are looking to help to one show George some love, and also to look for some content that will give you some easy to use tips for getting a quick green up on your lawn. There we go. I found it. All right. So we'll say to everyone, Princess Cut Lawn Care video. Cut video. Boom. There we go. In the chat. So if you guys want to go check something out, that's a really good video. If for anything, the music in it's really, really good. So go check it out. Give George some love. Thanks for coming to hang out, George. I appreciate you. All right. Next up, we got Willie Armstrong. He says, is there any pre-emergent that works well with Zenith Zoysia, and when should I apply it? Yes, Willie, there are several. You can use, if you want something that is, that's commonly available, not super expensive, not going to break the bank, you can use something like prodiamine or a blend that has prodiamine in it. I've got you covered, sir, because I did a video on pre-emergent a couple of weeks ago that I will link in the chat here for you. It shows you both options, one that is just straight prodiamine, and another one, a product called Coastal that has prodiamine, simazine, and imazaquin in it. The reason why you would want to use that one is if you have any weeds like Poanua that's already started germinating, started growing in your lawn already, but you just can't see them yet, or you can see them, you just want to get rid of them. Coastal is a good option because it has a little bit of reach back, right? It's going to kill some weeds, certain weeds that have already germinated after the fact, along with that prodiamine to prevent future weeds from growing in, over the winter months and into the spring. So I'll give you the link to that video, Willie. You can check that out. That video is all about pre-emergent, and both those products will work great on your Zenith Zoysia lawn. Hope that helps. All right. Let's see what other comments we have. We see Andrew and Giovanni or Giovanni. I keep saying Giovanni because I know a Giovanni, so I keep saying that. But going back and forth about heights of cut. All right, but next up we got Dimitri Metsopoulos. Help me out here, Dimitri. Is it Metsopoulos or Metsopoulos? I think it's probably the first one, Metsopoulos. I'm gonna go with that one. I'm probably butchering it both ways, but either way, sir, thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. I appreciate you. Sorry that I am hacking up your name. And then, so Giovanni is saying the St. Augustine lawn doesn't seem to be liking the 3 and 0.75 since the reason I'm looking for my modified mower. Yeah, mowing a bit taller. I know Alan definitely mows his lawn taller than 3 and 3/4 inches. He definitely goes taller than that. So hopefully you can find a kit. If not, you might end up with buying some more equipment. And hey, who doesn't like getting new lawn equipment, right? There's always that. But yeah, check out Alan's content, and you can see with the mower that he uses that will work well on St. Augustine. All right, we got Supersod in the house. What's up, guys? Thanks for coming to hang out. And here's the thing, Supersod, I've not forgotten you. I know we had that thing that you texted me about as far as the video. I have not forgotten you. I'm still gonna get around to doing it. I will do it. I will get it to you. But yeah, I just seeing your name just jogged my memory of that. He says, "Hey Ron, good evening and cool backdrop." Yes, you like the like all the lawn care products and everything. It's kind of cool. I like it. He says, good grief about all the rain around our parts. Thank God the weekend looks amazing. Yeah, we might as well enjoy it while we can. I think we're supposed to get some more rain starting Monday-ish, I think that's in the forecast. But yeah, it was nice going outside and seeing the sun for a change and not seeing huge puddles in the lawn and whatnot. So yeah, it's, Supersod, thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. I always appreciate everything you guys do. For those of you guys that are not familiar, and when I top dressed my lawn this year, like the big top dressing job that I did, I used the Supersod leveling mix, which is like their USGA sand and then their soil cube. I keep saying soil 3, but it's soil cubed compost, which has 3 components in it, and that stuff was amazing. Like it's literally the best top dressing mix I've ever used. It is more expensive, but like anything in life, you get what you pay for, right? It's really, really good stuff. Very clean material. The lawn worked out great. So thanks for all you guys do for the community, Supersod, and thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. I appreciate you. All right, LG is saying, at Josh Habib, Chiefs this weekend. Sorry, bud, you guys are going on about football. How about Brady though, man? Here's the thing, I'm not even like a Brady fan. Like I like being from Atlanta, but living in Atlanta, it's like written into the code that I have to like dislike Brady. But man, you got to hand it to the man. The man changed teams, went to like the Tampa Bay and won the Super Bowl, and then went back to his old team and beat them at home. I mean, you can't. When you're good, you're good. That's all you can say, right? When you're good, you're good. But yeah, I'd like to see Mahomes get another ring if possible. We'll see. We shall see how it works out. All right, next up, we got G Free in the house. He says, hey, Ron and Hashtag Strike Action Gang. I put down pre-emergent 2 days prior to all the rain. Great timing. It poured down. I could see yellow water flowing off my curb. It basically washed away. Should I do a partial app again? You know what? When you said, I thought I was going to know what I was going to answer, how I was going to answer this G Free. What I might do is this, right? It sounds like you probably did have some washout. Given all the rain that we had, as heavy as it was, you probably did have some. But what I would do is, if you did it just 2 days ago, let's give it some time. Let's not do another app like right now. Let's wait until like the end of this month or into November and do your next app then, because you didn't lose all of it, right? You didn't lose all of it. You probably lost some, but I don't want you just to throw another app right on top of it when some of it still is there, or the majority of it is there. The majority of it is still in the soil. If you had a little bit wash out and you want to put a little bit more down, a month, 6 weeks from now, that's what I would do. I wouldn't just go and throw it down again right now, right away. I wouldn't do that. I would spread it out a little bit. But yeah, man, I hear you in all the rain. It was a ton of rain we've gotten here in the last week. So, but good job of getting the pre-emergent down. You did exactly the right thing. It's unfortunate that we got far more rain than we needed to water it in. All right, you guys are having your football talk back and forth. Greg Lyons says, when you get a chance, could you please review the soil results that I sent you? Thank you. Yes, Greg, I will. I will review the soil test results that you sent to me. I need to put a I'll put a note to myself here. Remember Greg, because I do remember seeing your email this afternoon. I just haven't had a chance to look at it yet. So I will remember to review your results. I'm actually typing a note to myself right here. Remember Greg. That's what I just wrote to myself to remember to do. So I will take care of it tonight, sir. Tonight, when the live stream's over, I will get your soil test results reviewed, and I will get you a detailed response based on what I think. I apologize for the delay. Not ignoring you, promise. All right. McNasty Motorsports. You guys just build some really cool stuff with a name like that. McNasty Motorsports. Huh? What do you guys do? Like, is it like off-road or like street cars? I wonder. Cool name anyway. It says Zone 8A, Dallas. How late can Bermuda be pushed for ongoing green? Anyone? It varies on McNasty. Around this time of year, I wouldn't do a heavy nitrogen app on a Bermuda lawn. Like if your lawn is still fully green, it's still looking really good, and you want to do a light app, sure. But if you're going to apply nitrogen this late in the season, I would apply it at a rate lower than what you were using in the spring and summer months. So it depends. Every lawn is a little bit different. Like if you're in Arkansas or Tennessee or somewhere where the temperatures may be a bit cooler and your lawn's already starting to check out, then no, you wouldn't really want to put any more nitrogen on it because the grass is trying to go to sleep and you're pretty much forcing the issue. But I would do it based on how the lawn is looking. If it's still looking really dense, really nice and green, it's not yellowing or anything as yet, a light app, at a rate lesser than what you've been applying over the season is what I would use. But yeah, you should still be good to go assuming that those conditions are met. But again, don't go crazy heavy. I would not do that because you can create more problems than you saw. A good example for me, right? Like on my lawn is still relatively green. I did my last fertilizer app like tomorrow will be 1 week ago. Right? But I went at a lighter rate than what I did over the season. So as long as when you say pushed for ongoing green, if by push you mean like a lighter fertilizer app, sure. If by push you mean like slam it with like a ton of nitrogen to trying to get to green up a lot, that I would not do. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. Grasshopper Lawn Care says Pete on GCI Turf talks about a aerating. It's a vibrating aerator. That's cool. I have to check it out. I have to check out Pete's videos. I'll have to look it up and see what it looks like. He keeps up some cool content. I just have not seen that one. So if he has some content, I'll take a look. Thanks for letting me know, Grasshopper Lawn Care in the fine state of Georgia. All right. A Modi, I think I already answered your question about Roundup and overseeding. And then next up, we got Daryl Tunstall. He says, hey, Ron, I'm here a little late. You're still here. You're still here. I can't hate on that, man. Better here than not here. So I appreciate that. And then Greg Lyon has a question about the tiger stripe action that happens after all the heavy rain. He says, with the heavy rains earlier in the week, tiger stripes appeared again. Does that mean I should collect my clippings from here till next spring? No, not really. I mean, if you want to, you can. But when you have crazy amounts of rain like what we had, it's gonna be a thing. Like I have, I don't really have tiger stripes, but I did have like a small pool of a little bit of an area where there's clippings on the lawn, where some settle where I got the small swimming pool. In that area right now, there is like a haze of grass clippings there, but it wasn't so much that I actually got the stripes that you're talking about. So no, I wouldn't collect the clippings from here until spring unless that's what you just normally do. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything to do it. But if we have a crazy amount of rain like what we did, that, tiger stripes are a side effect of that, unfortunately. I wouldn't change what you're doing just because of like a crazy amount of rain causing the clippings to come to the surface and make the stripes in the lawn. I wouldn't change that. I would not. All right, Greg has a follow-up question where he says, again, with the heavy rains, I'm getting a lot of soil erosion down my slope and rocks and dirt streams down to my sidewalks. Any ideas of how I can stop this? So a couple of things, Greg. One, if the area that you're getting the soil erosion, I'm assuming it's heavily sloped, but assuming there's already grass there, right? That's one thing. Assuming there's already grass there, what we can look for is if your downspout, like your gutters, if any of your gutters that come off your house are dumping into that part of the lawn where it's heavily sloped, let's do something about that. So I had an issue similar to what you were dealing with on my front lawn. I had a channel that literally, when we get tons of rain, would get cut into the front lawn. I mean, you guys don't really see it or don't probably notice it as much as I do because I mow the ground all the time, so I know it's there. But one of the things I did in the off season, I got that flex tubing that you can get from Home Depot or Lowe's, and I connected it to the drain that drains off the roof to the front lawn, and I directed it to go onto the driveway, and that made a huge difference, a huge difference in the amount of mulch that got washed onto the lawn, and also made a huge difference as far as just erosion, the erosion problems that you're talking about. So, assuming there's grass there, we got to have grass. You have to have something to hold on to the soil. So, assuming that's already in place, then minimizing how much water that ends up in that area is our next step. And I'm going to say look for a way to divert any water that runs from the roof that ends up in that location to another area. That will actually help more than you know. Will help more than you know. Hopefully that helps. I can only tell you what I did and that I've had great results with. So hopefully that's some decent advice that will set you on the right path. All right. Next up, we have Demir, who has some sage advice for anyone that's thinking about taking up reel mowing. He says, for anyone who's thinking about reel mowing, make friends with your local golf course. If you have the time to work a few mornings every week, I bet they'd throw in the mower maintenance. I would do that. That's a good option. That's a cool option, man. Yeah, I mean, if you have the time to get out there and volunteer and do some work a few mornings every week, a couple things. One, you're going to learn a lot about how they take care of shortcut grass, like their fertilization you learn some about their fertilization program and how they mow and just all their practices, that's very valuable. And then you'll make friends, right? If you ever need to get your mower sharpened up, they might be more inclined to do that. So yeah, I've never actually considered that, Demir. Mainly because I don't have the time to do it. I don't have time to go work at my local golf course, not regularly anyway. But it would be cool to talk to one of them locally and just find out a bit more about their program. Hopefully, if I can get you on, you can share some knowledge with us on that topic. So that's good advice. That is good advice. Because to your point, reel mowers do require more maintenance and love than rotaries do. So yeah, having an end is definitely useful. All right, we got Papa Mo's Low in the house. What's going on, Papa Mo's Low? He says, hey everyone, you made it. You did. You certainly did. And then he's saying, I sprayed my prodiamine and I got 12 inches of rain. Yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of a theme this week, man. In the video I say, hey, you can just water your lawn or you can just wait for it to rain. I didn't expect it to be that much rain, but normally if we get a normal amount of rain, that works well with pre-emergent apps. But you're probably still fine on Papa Mo's Low. You probably didn't lose too much of it. Especially if you watered it in after you applied it, you're less likely to lose it than, like, say, a granular where there's more opportunity for it to actually run off than if you use like a liquid prodiamine app and then water it in heavily. I think you're going to hang on to more of it than you would had you went the granular route. I think you're going to be okay. All right, let's see. Giovanni and Connor are going back and forth about spacers and raising their mowers' height of cut. Andrew 77 is chiming in. He says, "At Demir, good advice. I have not, particularly new outlet, and hardly anyone services them by me. It's expensive and usually takes a lot of time when I have to send it out. Golf course friends would help." Yeah. I mean, to what Andrew's saying, that's a good talking point for anyone who's considering getting into reel mowing. Know that for the most part, any reel mower that is set up properly and is sharp can produce a really good result. So I am a fan of the True Cut. I'm also a fan of my Toro Greensmaster, which I love, my beloved Greensmaster. But there's other brands that can work just as well. But a really big consideration you want to keep in mind is whenever you buy a reel mower and you market for a reel mower, don't just look at it and say, oh, it looks really pretty, or it has all these attachments, or or I just like the way it looks, or I like the brand. Like finding someone or identifying someone locally that can service it or work on it when it breaks, because eventually something's going to break, or at a minimum is going to need maintenance, is pretty important. So make that part of your consideration whenever you're in the market for a reel mower. I mean, to Demir's advice, figure out what the local golf courses are using, and at a minimum, you're going to have a supplier in that area that can get parts of the golf courses. So that's a good reason to reach out to your local golf course as well too. Around here, it's a lot of Toro. There's some John Deere too, but a lot of Toro in these parts yonder. All right. VMH is up. He says, Ron, it looks about the same. It looks like growing has slowed down a lot this past week, as it should. I mean, temperatures are dropping, so Bermuda starts growing slower. That's kind of par for the course for warm season grass. So yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing, VMH. Like a lawn is not created all in one season. I mean, you can make it look pretty awesome if you like have a really good plan and you start early and you kind of do everything right. You can get an amazing looking lawn. But you started a bit later, and when we were talking, your lawn was like all crabgrass. Like your lawn was more crabgrass than Bermuda, and now you're at 80% Bermuda, 20% crabgrass or bare spots. So you're in a really good position for next year, especially if you get some pre-emergent down to prevent the weeds from even taking root. You're gonna be looking pretty this time next year, man. So I would definitely take stock in all the good things that you've accomplished, even if it may not necessarily be exactly what you wanted just yet. All right, Demir says, yeah, Andrew77, absolutely give it a try. I would swing that kind of deal at my course. Plus, you get to check out some of the big turf equipment. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'd want to see if I got that opportunity. Okay, Giovanni Garcia is talking about Provista. So yeah, let me take this question. He says, maybe some of Scott's Provista St. Augustine along the property line so I can treat the Bermuda with glyphosate and keep my hard worked on floor town from having to be resodded. What are your thoughts, Ron? Yeah, I think, if memory serves me, I want to say that Alan has that. I want to say he has a Provista that you can spray glyphosate on and it won't kill it. Yeah, so yeah, that's a good strategy. That is a good strategy. I mean, if you want to be able to go the glyphosate route, the napalm route, then yeah, if you want to sod the property line with the Provista and then just use glyphosate to kill the Bermuda, that's an option. Here's the thing. Keep in mind, Giovanni, I keep saying Giovanni, I don't have St. Augustine or Provista. So if you are going to do that, make sure you read the guidance on that particular grass type as far as spraying glyphosate on it. Check out Alan's content. I'm not sure if he's ever done that, but if anyone's going to know like what rates to use or how to do that safely, he will. Because even though they say you can spray glyphosate on it, I'm pretty sure like if you take like it right out of the bottle and dump it on the grass, you're probably going to have a bad day, right? So you want to make sure you're diluting it at the correct rates to get a good result. But that's definitely a strategy that could work. That could work. It'd be cheaper than some of the herbicides I was telling you about, like the Fungicide. It'd be cheaper than doing that. So something worth giving a shot. All right, we got Angela in the live stream. She says, hey, Ron, and everyone in the chat. Missed quite a few of these lives due to work commitments. That happens, man. You got to do it. You got to pay the bills. So no worries. You are here now. That's what we care about. He says, Ron, I've noticed some algae and moss along the path in the garden. What is the best solution for this? So a couple of things. And you're in the UK. So I'm watching, what is it, Garden Care Lawn Guy. He's got garden in his name. It's Mark, I believe is his name, is the YouTuber. So one strategy you can use is you can spray liquid iron on it. That will knock the moss back. It will knock it back at least temporarily. But the thing to really help the problem, Angela, is let's figure out why you have the moss in the first place. So in a lot of cases, moss and algae do well in areas that are heavily shaded and also areas where that don't drain well. So if you have a low spot along the path to your garden where water settles, like when it rains, because it rains a lot in the UK, that's something we're going to want to address. You want to make it to where water doesn't settle in those areas, because that in itself is going to make it harder for the moss and algae to be a problem. Eliminating shade can help, but really like water settling is one of the biggest culprits for what you are describing, especially being in the UK. So I would take a look at that next time it rains, or you maybe know already. Next time it rains, take a look at the area and see how long it stays damp or moist. And if it is, maybe that's a situation where you can get some screen topsoil and build it up a little bit, build up that area a little bit to kind of help the water not stay in that area. Just things like that you can do, or perhaps putting some drainage in. I haven't seen a picture of what you're talking about to be able to give like some very specific advice, but anything you can do to either one, prevent the water from settling there, or two, putting some drainage in to get the water out. Either of those should help with reducing the amount of algae and moss that you have in the paths along the garden. So hopefully that helps. If you also want to check out, it's like Garden Lawn Care, I think is the name of the channel. But it's a guy named Mark. He's in the UK, and he actually has a video talking about this. And I think liquid iron is what he sprayed, but it's only a temporary fix, right? To the root of the problem is to eliminate the conditions that are causing the moss and algae to be there in the first place. Great question. I appreciate it. And thanks for coming to chime in all the way across the pond. All right, next up we got David Polanco saying, what up, Ron? Happy Friday to you and the chat. What's going on, David? Thanks for coming and hang out with us. I appreciate you. And then next up we have Tom V says, hey, Ron, I got 1.5 inches of rain yesterday in the Chicago area. That's all? This is rookie numbers, man. Rookie numbers. You got to come down to Georgia where we've been like flooded out. This is most since July. That's the most rain you've gotten since July. I got Humic Max down last week, and now the lawn looks legendary. Not epic, but legendary. I like it. It's awesome. He says, and now the Turfplex tomorrow for my spoon feed. That sounds like you're on the right path, man. Sounds like you got you got it. You got it. That Turfplex and the Humic Max. That's a potent combo. Potent combo. So I'm glad that the Humic Max is working well for you. For any of you guys that don't know what Tom is talking about, he's talking about Humic Max, which is the fertilizer that Lebanon graciously allowed us to begin selling to the DIY community. You can get it at the golf course lawn store. I'll show you guys really quick. Short commercial break. It's a 1608, works on all grass types, so cool season grass, warm season grass. Also contains right at 9% humic acid. It's like 8.9%. So that's also good as well for helping with the microbial activity in your soil. So overall, just awesome product. One bag treats up to 15,000 square feet. And yeah, so if you're looking for a great fertilizer to try on your lawn, and again, I have yet to get a really bad review on it. I'm sure someday it might happen, but so far the results have been overwhelmingly positive on the product. Give Humic Max a try. You will not be disappointed. And the Supersod says, yeah, I appreciate you, Ron. And yeah, soil cubed. Yeah, so because it's like, yeah, soil 3, but it's, yeah, soil cubed. You're right. I know, I learn. It just takes me a while. It takes me a while, Supersod. Bear with me. And let's see. And then Tom B says, thanks for all the advice. Anxious to learn more about spray tip types to apply fertilizer versus ink. I'm not sure what, I think you have a follow-up question down there. Let me get that for you real quick. He says, can you share the sprayer tips you use for fertilizer versus herbicide versus insecticide? I got the Ryobi backpack sprayer, but need good sprayer tips. Yeah, so I have a video on that, Tom B. All it talks about is sprayer tips. And I will show you here. I don't have any in front of me here to be able to actually, actually I do have one. I lie, I do have one here. This is like a flood jet tip. Yeah, so I've got one here. So, but this video here that I'll put in the chat for you, let me grab it. Why did I click that? I will grab it here real quick and show you, but I have a video that shows two types of spray tips that you can run on your lawn. And this is really a third option that can work as well too. It's all about sprayer tips. So at Tom V, this video. Okay, cool. So but in a nutshell, TJet makes, they make a foliar application tip, which has a very fine droplet size. That is what you want to use for, it's not really limited to fertilizer or herbicide or insecticide. It's more like what is the product you're applying? Where is it designed to work? So if you're, so a good example for like a, for liquid fertilizer that's designed to be foliar absorbed, or for herbicides, like post-emergent herbicides like Celsius or Certainty. So things that are products that are designed to stick to the plant leaf. A finer or a mist spray tip, like the one that I show in that video that I just linked in the chat, that one will work well because it's got a finer droplet size, right? For insecticide, now we're talking about something that in most cases you want to get down into the soil. If you're, depends what you're using. It depends what you're doing. If you're doing to try and kill armyworms, and even that being on top is fine. But if you're trying to do something where you're trying to get it into the soil, that's where a larger droplet size works better. So in that video, I show an air induction tip. This is also a flood jet tip. I think that's what this is. Yeah, this is actually a flood jet tip from TJet. These types also work well too. These put out like a really big droplets. Like it looks almost like, I mean, not as big as obviously like a sprinkler, but like if you look at that video, in that I show you back to back. I show you like a plant being sprayed with the fine mist one and a plant being sprayed with an air induction tip, and you can see the differences in droplet size. This is even bigger than what I even show in those videos, and this is really more for pre-emergent. So the tip you choose is really based on where do you want the product you're applying to end up. Do you want to stay on the foliage, on like the leaves, or do you want it to get down in the soil? If you want to get down in the soil, tip that produces a bigger droplet size is generally more ideal for that purpose. So hopefully that helps. Take a look at that video, and take a look at that video, and you'll be able to see exactly what it's exactly as far as droplet size. I go into all of it in that video in detail. So hopefully that helps. Let me know if I can help with anything else. Great question. Good question to be asking, man. That's a great question. That's a great question because that does make a difference in how well your products work. All right. Braden Rubin is chiming in. It says, Birmingham Pressure Pro. Looks like a pressure washing business, I guess. He says, I'm about to go through a bunch of your videos and watch them all. Just want to see what you're using in place of Milo. What I'm using in place of Milo, Braden, I'll show you. I'll save you time. I have a video on the topic, but it's the Humic Max, the fertilizer I was just talking about a second ago. So this is the core, the foundation of what I use in my fertilization program. And then as the second part is a liquid fertilizer called Turfplex. So this here. So I apply both of them at relatively low rates, and they work together to produce a really nice green, not too much growth, but the two of them work well together. So the reason why I do a liquid and a granular is the granular does most of the feeding, and the liquid is good for just, again, keeping the color and the amount of growth consistent throughout the growing season. So I did that this season. It worked out really, really well. There's been several other people that have done the same thing and have had excellent results with it. But that's in a nutshell what it is. So Turfplex and Humic Max, that's what I'm using on the lawn. I have on my videos, you'll see content on both of them. So just go through the videos. You'll be able to find videos on each of those products, and you'll actually have a video on spoon feeding, so you can see how I use them together. Talk about rates and everything like that in that content. So hopefully that helps. Well, guys, it is 9 o'clock, and it is time for me to take a sip of my lemonade, and it's also time for me to ask you guys to touch that like button ever so gently, if you wouldn't mind. It's free for you guys to do. It's a great way to support the channel. Sends good vibes to the YouTube algorithm. Sends more people our way to come hang out and have us talk about lawn care stuff. So I'll take some of my lemonade while you guys hopefully touch that like button for me. Great stuff. All right, next up, Adam. Let's see. That's not a real question. It's a funny question, but it's not. It's a real question. But I'm gonna get that one. So Adam, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what the rain and the horse-sized duck has to do with anything, but I appreciate you coming to hang out in the live stream anyway. All right, so yeah, I've addressed your question already, Tom B, on sprayer tips, and then Gary Kellett Jr. is chiming in, saying, "Hey Ron, have you ever used Lesco's 3-way selective spot weed?" I guess you're talking about their selective herbicide. I've not, Gary. I've not used it. It's probably fine. I've not used it to know exactly which one you're talking about, but I'm sure it's probably works fine. It's probably a good product. I mean, you have to realize a lot of the products that Lesco sells, a lot of them are like white labeled products, right? So they have like another manufacturer, like a good example, like Carbon Pro G is an excellent example, right? Carbon Pro G is made for Lesco by Miramichi Green. So it's sold under the Lesco brand, but it's made by Miramichi Green. And I imagine a lot of their herbicides are the same way. So I mean, I'm sure it's going to be good stuff. If they're white labeling a 3-way herbicide, it's probably a blend that works well together. Very, very good. Thanks for chiming in, sir. And then Austin Bird is back. He says, thanks for all you do for us, Ron. I appreciate it. No problem. Thanks for coming to hang out. And so I'm not lonely on Friday nights. He says, question, how long after overseeding can I use a fungicide? I think Demir already addressed that. The two aren't really connected. You can do them at the same time. You can do them the day after. There's no issue with that. I've not found any guidance on the labels, at least not for Heritage or for Headway, that says anything around restrictions for seeding and applying the product. So if there are fungicides where there are restrictions, it would be spelled out on the label. But the ones that I use, I haven't seen anything along those lines that says anything like that. So hopefully that helps. All right, next up, Greg is back. He says, I had an area that I burned with too much fertilizer. The hopper tipped. That's painful, man. I have been there with you, Greg. I've been there with you. I feel your pain. He says, the hopper tipped in June and the area is still brown. Do you think this will fill out next spring? It will. It'll fill out again. If you want to see, get a good joke at my expense, so I can find it. There's like 3 videos I did on like the burnt model. It was like from 2018 where I show me burning my my lawn. So I'll put this in the chat. You guys can have a laugh at my expense at Greg. You can see like the spot that was burned. And then there's a couple of other videos that do some follow-up that show how the lawn recovered. You can't see it now, obviously, right? So it will bounce back depending on the severity of the burn, how much of the fertilizer you got up and how much you left down, all that stuff weighs in on how long it takes for the grass to bounce back. But it will recover. It should be just fine. I wouldn't sweat it too much. And then Gary, I think I answered your question about the Lesco. I appreciate that. And then next up we have Dave Abwell in the house. He says, hey, at Ron, my family and I are planning on getting a new construction home in the near future. I love doing lawn care stuff, but I've never grown a lawn from seed. Yeah, I mean, it's an option if you're doing new construction, and I guess if the builder is going to allow you to do that, then yeah, if you want to go that route, you can. I will tell you that going the sodded route is like way, way, way easier. Like it's like several orders of magnitude easier than establishing a lawn from seed. But if you have the, if you're putting in irrigation when you build a home, so you have a way to water the grass or water the, water the area that you're going to plan seeding, you can definitely go that route. That's an option too. Not going to hurt as long as you have the water to ensure success. So good to get good germination, then you should be good to go. And then, you have a follow-up question. He says, would you recommend a new construction home to grow a lawn from scratch or go with the installation of sod? I would go with the installation of sod. I mean, unless there's some special grass type that you're really trying to grow and you can only get it in seed and you really know everything you're getting into. Because here's what happens when you grow a lawn from seed, outside of like ryegrass, because that just grows really easily. Like say Bermuda as an example, or Zoysia as an example. So you told me, hey, I want to do Zoysia from seed. What you're going to find is you're going to, after about 3 weeks, you're going to get some germination, but it's not going to be over the entire lawn. You're going to have some areas that are lagging behind than the other areas. So when you seed a lawn, at least with warm season grass anyway, you're talking several months for the lawn to grow in with any kind of like dense coverage, right? Whereas with sod, literally, you do a good job prepping it. They lay the sod down, and you got green grass, right? And then literally, if you want to, the following week, you could top dress it. So if you want to get onto the business of like leveling it and making it nice, you could install your sod, top dress it, and you're already ahead of the game. So sod is a lot easier than grass seed, and it's what I recommend for most people, especially with the new construction. Unless there's some grass type that you just really, really want and it's only available in seed, I would just go with sod. There's so many great sod options that's what I would do. And congrats on the new home, and congrats on the upcoming new lawn. So if I can help with anything else, definitely let me know. All right, next up we got Christopher Stevenson. He says, I've got some spots of common Bermuda mixed in my lawn. Will it crowd out my hybrid, and how can I get rid of it without affecting the good Bermuda? Appreciate you. That's a good question. So as far as a selective herbicide, a way to get rid of common Bermuda and not kill the hybrid, I'm not aware of any. I can tell you that hybrid Bermuda tends to tolerate being cut lower better than common does. So if you're trying to keep, you're saying, well, it crowd out the hybrid. If you're trying to keep the hybrid, if you're already real mowing lower can give the hybrid a bit of an advantage. But you're likely just going to end up with a mutt lawn, man. It's like it's not easy to get rid of different types of Bermuda in a lawn once they are there. I will tell you this much, Christopher, and if it's any consolation, you will notice it more than anybody else. Like most people that drive by and see your lawn won't even really notice a difference. You will see it more than anyone else. And if you're keeping the lawn mowed short, it's going to become less apparent then. If you're mowing it taller, you just probably see it more. But if you're real mowing it and you're keeping it short, it's going to be less of a thing. But I don't have a really good answer for you as far as how to eliminate it, while keeping the hybrid. And as far as it crowding it out, it's really hard to say. I mean, if the common was there first, it's kind of unlikely the hybrid's going to knock it out. It's probably more likely the other way is going to happen, right? So there's no easy formula or recipe for getting one type of Bermuda to take over another type of Bermuda, if that helps. So sorry I don't have a better answer for you, but there you go. And then Demir is chiming in. He says, red or nothing, Ron. Toro, red or nothing. Red or nothing. Toro is the best turf equipment. All I use on my equipment lease, is up this fall. $2 million in new red rolling in spring of 2022. Can't wait. That's pretty awesome, man. So I guess you are serious about your Toro. I like mine. I like my Toro. It's pretty awesome, man. I mean, here's the thing. I figure if it's good enough for Augusta National, it's good enough for me. Now I realize there's some marketing that goes on into that, and there's probably a lot of other stuff. Like I'm sure John Deere would love to get on Augusta National, but if they can still choose to run Toro, that says something, because they could literally get anything they want, and they choose to run Toro equipment. So There you go. That's a pretty big endorsement. Along with your, of course, making a pretty sizable investment in Toro equipment. All right. Next up, we got Mazama Blue saying, "Hey, I made it here. Soil temps are holding at 68 degrees. Mow, and mowing some more. Thumbs up. Sounds like a good plan to me, man. I would do it. Sounds great. Sounds great. I would continue doing that on Mazama Blue. No worries at all. No worries with that at all. All right, and then Michael A. Chafin is checking in and says, "Hey, Ron, checking in here. Missed your live last week. No problem. You're here now. I appreciate you. And remember, the last week's show, if you missed this week, the last week's show is live. Like, I leave all of them up. So you can watch the live streams going back to last year, like whenever things were like really bad. I mean, I am less bad now. I've gotten a lot better now over having now about a year doing these. So yeah, if you want to see some of the older content, go back and take a look at it. And yeah, last week is still live, so you can still check it out if you are so inclined. It was a fun one. It was a fun live stream. Some excitement on that one. It's actually worth checking out if you like a little toss up. It's actually a fun one to watch, if for nothing else other than that. All right. Next up, we have John Finley. Finley chiming in. He says, "Fun idea for electric mowers. Someone should make a lawnmower bag that your electric mower fits into for winter storage." Okay. I guess that's an option, but I guess if it's a electric mower, why? I guess I'm trying to understand like why a bag would be necessary, John. But I appreciate the question. I appreciate the comment. No worries. And okay, next up we have Dimitri Metsopoulos. I keep butchering his name. He says, "What pre-emergent can I use in a flower bed that won't be hindered by mulch? Thanks, Red Team Ron. LOL." There is a product called Preen. I think that's what it's called. Preen. It's a yellow. I can see it at Home Depot. It's a yellow bag. It's a yellow bag. Yep, this is it right here. So this is a product that a lot of people use in beds and mulch beds that works fairly well as a pre-emergent. Let me get it here in a browser, and I will bring it over so you can take a look at it. So Dimitri, this product right here is what I'm talking about. Preen. So you can get it in a jug. I think it also comes in a bag, but this is like your go-to for keeping weeds out of your mulch beds, flower beds, those kinds of things. You can put pre-emergent down, but it doesn't work. I mean, the mulch is so big. There's so much mulch between where like a liquid pre-emergent would end up, that using something like Preen is a better option. So hopefully that helps. That is a good option for what you are trying to do. Go with that. All right, let me get down here for a super chat that Mr. Papa Mose Low sent to me. I appreciate that so much, Papa Mose Low.
Super chat received.
He says, "Thanks for a great year, Ron. I'm so glad I found your channel last December. I appreciate you being a viewer, man. I appreciate having you around to watch the content. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. I made a lot of friends over the course of the season, and it helped a lot of people with their lawns, and it's been a lot of fun. You guys don't have no idea how much I really enjoy hearing about the great results you guys get in your lawns. All right, so next up we have a question from Thomas Hanan. He says, "Do granular fertilizers disappear when watered in, or do some stay in the granule form for a while?" New to lawn care. That's a great question, Thomas. So as they're watered in, they begin to break down and get down into the soil. So they stay in granule form for a while. But if they get sufficient water, along with sufficient water, sufficient moisture, that will help them begin to break down and to get down into the soil. So yes, when you first apply them, you will see them on the lawn, but after it rains, you should see a lot less of them. And a week or so later, you shouldn't see anything really at all. You really shouldn't see that much left over at that point. So yeah, if that's what you're seeing, that is correct. That's what should be happening. That is what should be happening. All right. See what other questions we have. Did I skip someone's question? I got someone here saying a nasty comment. Let me scroll back up and make sure I didn't miss a question. I hate to do that because I know you guys take time out of your day to come hang out in the live stream. And when I look here, I don't see anything. So nope, just a troll. Just my beloved trolls. We're getting to wonder if I was going to have any tonight, but I guess we could make it all the way through. So, okay, next up, next question we have is from Austin, or a comment from Austin Beard. He says, I use Scott's safe for seeding fertilizer with pre-emergent, mesotrione, so basically tenacity. How long should I wait before using tenacity? You just use tenacity. That essentially is tenacity. Like the active ingredient in tenacity is mesotrione. So don't do that. So if you've already put down that whatever that product from Scott's. I would not do tenacity on top of that. So, I guess you did that because you're trying to kill off some weeds. What I would do then, here's what I would do, awesome. Read the tenacity label and treat the Scott's product that you just applied. I'm not familiar with it, but treat the product that you just applied as if you also applied tenacity on that date, because you did. Essentially, that's what you did. And see what the guidance on the tenacity label has as far as follow-up applications, like how long you should wait for a follow-up app. It is a slower working herbicide. So like if you did it, you didn't say how long ago it was, but I wouldn't do it like a week later, but just check the label. Check the label for tenacity, see what it says. And that's going to be the best answer as far as when you can do a follow-up application on it. So that's good stuff. Good stuff. Great question. I appreciate it. All right. Giovanni has a question. Says, are you looking for grass that needs to be cut low or high? I think it's a question for someone else. It's not for me. Okay, so Legendary Hanzo has a great question. He says, hey, Ron, how do I send you pictures? The way you send pictures is using my email address, which is right here, ron@golfcoursesalon.com. If you send me pictures, if it's pictures for the show, and to make it easier for me, guys, so I'm starting to get I have been getting a lot of email, but to make it easier, like in the subject line, put like pictures for the show. So put like pictures for the show in the subject line, because that way I can easily sort them and find them easily after the fact. And it lets me know whether it's someone that needs an answer to something right away, or if it's something that someone is saying, hey, look at my baller lawn that I created, doing all the cool stuff that the YouTubers and that some of the guidance you give has helped me with. So if that's the case, just put in the subject, pictures for the show or pictures for you to check out, just something along the line, so I know what the subject is about. But yeah, just send me an email here, Legendary Hanzo, and I will take a look at them. I appreciate it. Looking forward to checking them out. All right, next up we have Aaron Joe says, I get wild onions all over my yard in fall to late spring. What can I use to get rid of it? Now there are selective herbicides that will kill those. I'm trying to think of I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of what comes to mind for that. I'm not sure. Well, two things, Erna. I'm not sure what kind of grass you have to be able to tell you what to use. I don't know if you have Bermuda. I don't know if Celsius will do that. That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head if Celsius will. Here's what I'll do. Check the label. I'll give you a couple of products to take a look at. Check the labels for Celsius, and also check the labels for tenacity. Those are products that you can use. One is for cool season lawns, one is for warm season lawns, and see if wild onions are on the label anywhere. I'd have to check the label for prodiamine and see if it actually works against wild onions. I don't know that one off the top of my head, but as a way to prevent it, pre-emergent might help with that. But I don't have the tenacity. I don't have the label for prodiamine up in front of me to be able to tell you. So I'll give you a bit of homework, so I can't do that live on the show, Erna. But check the labels for. I'm telling them to you here for prodiamine. That's your pre-emergent. That will hopefully prevent them from being a problem in the first place. For tenacity, for cool season, and then Celsius for warm season grass. So between those three, check the labels for those and see if any of them list wild onions on there, if they will control those. And yeah, between one of those three products, you should be covered. So hopefully, sorry I don't have a better answer for you, but I don't want to say go use something I don't know for sure that it will work against that. I'm sure there's a way to control it, but off the top of my head, I don't know that one. I appreciate the question though, and I'll take that one as a note actually to talk about next week. Let me make a note about that. Wild onions, and good, very good. All right, next up. Angela is saying, thank you so much for the advice. I appreciate it. You're very, very welcome. Angela, thanks for staying up so late in the UK, man. It's got to be late where you are. You're like 5 hours ahead, so it's after midnight for sure. So yeah, I appreciate you staying up late. All right, next up we got David Polanco saying,
Super chat received.
Appreciate it. Just saying $5. Thanks so much, David. I appreciate the love and support. Thank you so much for that. And then next up, we have a question from JK talking about any experience using liquid copper for black algae. No experience with that at all, JK. Cannot speak to that one, unfortunately. Sorry. Have not heard of using that on it. I've heard of iron, but not of liquid copper. But I can look into it. I'll take that as a topic to dig into. Take that as a topic to dig into. All right. Next up, we have Demir and Michael going back and forth, and then Michael A. Chafin is saying that Pilex will kill common Bermuda, but do not spray it in the fall or winter. Wait till July, or Sencor will burn it up as well. So, are you saying, Michael, that's something you can spray on? So you have a lawn that is part hybrid and part common. You're saying Pilex will do that. I'll do some digging in on that to see, one, if it does work, if it can do that. That's going to be new to me. I've never heard of a selective herbicide that will target common Bermuda but not hybrid, and then it's also rated for residential lawns. So I'll take a look into that as well. So yeah, I appreciate the comment. I'll give it a look, and we shall see. You may have found like the holy grail for some people. I appreciate the comment. All right, and then Dan Blue Boss says, in case you don't hear this enough, thank you for the time you give to the lawn community. Your lawn is beautiful. I appreciate it, Dan. It's looking decent. It's definitely greener this time of year than it was this time last year. But I also have a lot of weeds in my lawn this year that I didn't have last year because of no pre-emergent, in the spring. So I'm paying for that with all the work I was doing as far as seeding. But next year, the launch should be great. Should be a lot of fun. But yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for watching the content. And just it's a ton of fun. And I enjoy helping you guys out and just, interacting with the community, talking about lawn care. All right. Next up, John Finley is a comment or a question. He says, is it a good idea to lawn rolling new sod on Bermuda, clay soil in Tennessee? It depends on who you ask, John. I've never done it. I've not done it. I've seen people put sod in, and then they will and they put a roller then to kind of even things out. I mean, that's an option. I've also seen it not done, and you get a good result. I think more important than rolling in the new sod is, while that's something you can do, like the better job you do prepping the area that you're going to put the sod on, like making sure it's as even as possible, so that's like pretty much you're putting it on even ground or smooth ground as much as you can. Like that has a really big impact on how it ends up looking. Another thing to keep in mind too is even if you roll it, depending on how the sod was cut, you can still end up with bumps in the lawn. I think, who was it? I think it was Lawncology. It was John Perry. John Perry did a big project at his lawn, at one of his properties, and he put sod in. And he did all the prep work. He had it nicely smoothed out. He had sod put in, and he still ended up with like some bumps in his lawn, and it was due to nothing that he did wrong. It was because the sod that he got, when they cut it, like the best way to describe it is like, say this is like a chunk of sod, like our soil test kit is sod. Instead of them cutting it like flat to where it's all even across, they cut it like this. So it's really thin here, and then it got really thick here. And they did that consistently for a lot of it. So what you end up with is like a bunch of like terracing throughout the lawn, and you can't really do a whole lot about that because that's how the sod came when it was cut. So, and rolling isn't really going to fix that. That's the case where you're going to have to end up top dressing it. So if you want to, you can, but I would focus more on making sure that the area you're applying the sod to is in great shape. If you want to roll it, fine. But if you're looking for the best looking lawn after all that, you're going to end up doing top dressing anyway. So great question. It's a good one. I have not had that one before. All right. JK has a question. He says, my wife's dad is a higher up at a local country club and can get me a cheap used equipment. That's a good connection to have. He says, I already own a Greensmaster. What equipment would you be looking for? So you're saying like he's opening the stables and saying, hey, what do you want? I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Outside of the mowers, most of the equipment they use on the golf courses is too big to like have or to be of a lot of use on residential lawns. I mean, like a top dressing machine would be pretty awesome. Like a small one, like the one that I use in my video from earlier this year when I did the big top dressing project. Like a small top dressing machine, those would be pretty sweet to get your hands on if you have a place to put it. Yeah, that's the only thing that really comes to mind. I can't think of anything else other than perhaps a top dresser like that. If I owned one, that is something I would make use of probably more than like owning an aerator. Like I'd be out there top dressing like every couple of weeks, man. There'd always be sand showing up at my house. I'd always be doing it. Yeah, I'd be doing it like the way the golf courses do it. Every couple of weeks, just get out there and lay a nice little coat of sand down. So that is what I would go for, JK. Yeah, outside of that, I can't really think of anything else. If they have leveling rakes, like if they have like used leveling rakes that they will be willing to let go of, you can get one of those kind of cheap. That's a good thing. That's a good tool to have as well too. It'll save you, you know, $130, $140 depending on which one you go with. But outside of like a mower, which you already have, or a top dressing machine, which you did not specify, but that's what I would go with. The other thing that really just jumps into mind is like a leveling rake. That's what I would look into. Good problem to have, sir. Good problem to have. Good problem to have. All right. Let's see what other questions we have here. So next you have Begonias 444 said, what is the window for winter fertilizer application? I'm in the Chicagoland area now. Begonias. So you can apply. You can be applying fertilizer now. It's a good question. You know, really I'd imagine up until you start getting freezing temperatures is when you can do it. A great channel, not to pawn you off or anything, but a great channel to get that kind of a question answered is either look at like the Lawn Whisperer. He's not in Chicago. I think he's in Indiana. He has cool season grass like you. So similar temperature, similar climates. His content, he's gonna have a lot of content around when he fertilizes his lawn, but literally today, Princess Cut Lawn Care released a video talking about that very subject around applying fertilizer to cool season grass. And he is in the Chicago area. He lives in Chicagoland. Like he's literally in your neck of the woods. So I'm going to put this in the chat for you now. And you can check him out at Begonias. Let's see here, Begonias 444. Check out George's content. It's a really good video. It's literally on the topic of exactly what you're talking about. But the long short answer is you can still do an application now for sure. And as you get closer to freezing, that's when you're not going to want to be fertilizing the lawn anymore. But check out George's content. It's awesome stuff, and he's going to be a really good resource for someone like you in Chicagoland on fertilizing your lawn. So I appreciate you watching the content. Thanks so much. All right, next up we have David Polanco. He says, hey, Ron, I have a Toro recycler here in San Antonio. When should I stop recycling and start bagging? Any suggestions? Greatly appreciated. St. Augustine, by the way. Here's the thing, David. There is one time of the year when I catch, well, it's not true. There's 2 times of the year when I catch any clippings on my lawn. The first time is whenever I scalp. And then the second time is whenever companies coming over, like for 4th of July, if I'm having people over to come hang out and play on the lawn and light fireworks, like for that, when I want the lawn to look its absolute best, in that case, I'll catch clippings too. But really, it's only twice. When I scalp in the spring, and if there's some special event where I want the lawn to look really, really, really nice, and I'm just being super paranoid and not really wanting to, being super pedantic, not really wanting any clippings to be on the lawn, that's when I do it. I don't bag my clippings. I just don't, because the way I look at it is it's free fertilizer. And I just don't see the point of throwing it out. In addition to that, given the size of my lawn, it's a lot of clippings to have to deal with. So I don't do that. If you are mowing regularly, which I'm sure you probably are, if you're doing that, there's not a ton of reason to start bagging your clippings for any reason. I've never done it. So take that for what it's worth. I think even Alan too, another good point with him is he has St. Augustine. He did a video this summer bagging it once to see how it looked, and he liked the way it looked. But as a general practice, he doesn't bag his clippings either, and he has your grass type. He has St. Augustine. So as long as you're mowing regularly, you should be good to go. You are good to go. No issues at all there. All right, man. So we got 2 golf course guys going back and forth talking about chopping it up about lawn equipment. Always fun. Very cool. And then Giovanni Garcia says, David Polanco, I mow my St. Augustine 2 times a week. First mow, I mulch my clippings. The second mow, I bag. So that's a strategy too. That's a good in between. So mulch once, mow another. If you want to see the results though from that, this is a great segue into the My Soil video on bagging versus mulching your clippings. Is actually Soil Lab, but it's run by My Soil. I'll put a link in the description here in the chat for you guys on that. That shows they actually did a test showing like what happens whenever you bag versus mulch your clippings. Like what does it do to the nutrient levels in the soil? And it's actually pretty cool content. I think you guys would be pleasantly surprised as far as like when you're always taking clippings out, what happens. So at Giovanni and at Mr. David Polanco. Where are you, David? There we go. There you go. That video is an excellent one for you guys to watch. All right, let's see what else we got. Donnell Burrell is in the house, the Duff Golf Course Lawn Academy cheerleader. He said, "What's up, Ron? Lawn Academy in the house." He says, "Just did my fall regiment to close the season. I am fast forwarding to next season. When is a good time to do my first soil sand leveling? Early spring?" Yeah, that's when I would do it, Donnell. So it's a lot of it is based on how the grass is growing, right? Like the boilerplate answer for when should you top dress your lawn is late May, early June. But if you're getting like warm temperatures and the lawn is greened up nicely, it's growing nicely, you can go as soon as like late April, early May and still get a great result. But if you just want to be super safe, late May, early June, knowing you're probably not going to wait that long. So it's probably going to be more like April for you. But yeah, as long as the lawn is fully green, fully established, it's growing nicely, that is when the window opens for lawn leveling projects, for top dressing and that kind of thing. All right, and we got LG chiming in here about the question about the wild onions. He said, "Tenacity is not labeled for wild onion, but it smoked the wild onion in my lawn. Haven't seen any wild onion in over 5 seasons." So there you go. Tenacity, if the person that asked, I forget your name, but if you are asking about wild onions and you have cool season grass, which LG does, Tenacity could be an option. Tenacity could be an option. So there you go. So I appreciate that, LG. Thanks for chiming in, and glad to hear that your lawn is wild onion free. And then Michael A. Chafin is also chiming in on it, saying that Celsius at 2.5 ounces per acre will kill wild onion, which is 0.05, like the tiny amount per 1,000 square feet. So yeah, so either one of those. So it was a good guess on my part. Tenacity for cool season lawns, Celsius for warm season grass. Either of those will knock out wild onion. So good to go. Thanks, guys, for confirming that. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, next up we have Alejandro Hurtado in the house. He says, "Hey, Ron, I recently reseeded my lawn with 100% Kentucky bluegrass. There is one area that is not growing past an inch where a tree stump was grinded down and was backfilled with topsoil." Yeah, so what you're probably dealing with, Alejandro, is like, having debris under where the grass is trying to grow is going to cause problems. It's going to cause problems with the roots being able to get moisture, being able to get nutrient. So if you can, it pains me to say this, but if you can like dig up that, if you know where the area was, if you can remove more of the stump, so if you can get in there and either remove what's left, I don't know how big the tree was, but if you can remove it altogether, that would be the best. But if you can cut it down to where you've got at minimum 6 inches of good topsoil between that stump or the remnants of that stump and the surface, the grass should do a lot better there. But if all you got is about an inch, that's not enough, man. That's not enough for the grass to do well in that area, unfortunately. And now, I'm dreading this. I don't even know why I do this to myself. I don't know why I have to read this comment, but he did a super chat, so now it's going to have to happen. Here we go. So Wise Guy's up next.
Super chat received.
And he says, "Ron, I've been following you for 2 years. Zoysia, Crimson Tide versus Bermuda, the Bulldogs for the SEC championship. 100%. Remember, Zoysia is king. Ron, thanks for all you do." Here's the thing, though. You guys better watch out. The Bulldogs are playing some football this year, man. They are now... Now, will they be able to hold out when it really counts? If they are like most Georgia teams, other than the soccer team, they're probably gonna blow it. I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate mail for that one, but it's just the way it is. But they're playing really good football this year. If there's any year we had a chance to beat Alabama, this year could be the year. So, and if we do, I will say this, Wise Guy, if Georgia beats the Crimson Tide this year, I gotta tell you, like it's gonna be epic. The way there's gonna be some comments about it between you and me on that. You have to come in and do a super chat, and you have to acknowledge that for this year anyway, that Bermuda is king and the Bulldogs are king. If it happens, if not, then yours can stand. So anyway, I enjoy it, sir. Thanks for the super chat. Always enjoy being poked at by you. So thanks so much for coming to hang out and giving me a hard time. But this year could be the year, man. This year could be the year. That's what it says. Hope springs eternal when it comes to Georgia sports teams. All right, next up, we have Gary Kellett again. He's back and he says, hey, Ron, I'm just outside of Chicago, and we had an extended summer this fall. Just got rain in the 70s, and I was wondering, should a 70-0-20 stress blend be okay for a fall fertilizer? Yes, that's a good option, Gary. No problems with that at all. Yeah, like the stress blend, the Yard Mastery one is a great option. And Jameer, here's the thing. So Jameer graciously is offered to answer any random questions about cool season turf grass. We're gonna make this happen, man. So when I get off the live stream tonight, I'll chat with you, and we'll have to we got to set up a time to make this happen. Maybe next week. I may have someone else on next week. Perhaps we'll have to see how his schedule works out, if that happens or not. But next week would be ideal to get someone on. Next week I want to have someone else have a guest on the live stream, so you guys don't have to always just listen to me the entire time. I know you guys enjoy it, but having someone else different would be a cool change. So I will get something lined up. Be really cool to have you on. As long as you got like a somewhat decent camera and more importantly a decent microphone, should be good to go. No worries. All right, and then Joe David says, hey, at Ron Henry, I've always recycled, never bagged. Y'all solidified my reasoning. Yeah, man. I mean, you can bag if you want, but it's just more work. It does look better. I will say this, right? For people that bag their lawns, it does look better when you bag the clippings. But as a matter of practice, I just don't like it because you're throwing out like a lot of fertilizer. It's just not worth it. Not worth doing. And then Wise Guy, yes, I did answer your question. It's not too late. If you want to go ahead and do that, the 318.8, the 318.18, yes, you can go ahead and do that. That's a very light that's a very light amount of N. Make that like your last app for the season, though. Things are going to start cooling off here pretty quickly. So if you want to get that one down, you should be good to go. So yeah, no worries at all. No worries at all. All right, next up we have John Hopkins. He says, John Hawkins says, hey, Ron, love the channel. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. He says, my neighbor has grubs, and I have had an issue with them in the past. Would you recommend Acelepryn this late in the year? So Acelepryn G, I mean, yes. The answer to your question is yes. You can use it, but it's better if you apply it in the springtime. Like if you're trying to control grubs, the earlier in the season you use it, the better. So, but will it still kill grubs this time of year? Yeah, but I mean, you really wanna catch them earlier in their life cycle than like now. A good example is I applied a Acelepryn to my lawn in when did I do that video? Was it April, late March? I think it was when it was. And I haven't seen any grubs. There's no issues with grubs, lawn or armyworms or any of that in my lawn this year. So it's an excellent product. It's not cheap, but it's an excellent product for keeping the insects out of your lawn that destroy your turf grass. So hopefully that helps. John, if you want to give it a go this time of year, yeah, go for it. But ideally, just fast forwarding to the spring, I'd like to see you get it down in like March, April. And then that's going to, as long as you do a good job applying it, that's going to pretty much ensure that you're not going to have problems with grubs and other lawn damaging insects throughout the next season. Robert Rainey's in the house, is late to the party. I'm here now. What I miss? Not too much, Robert. Just a lot of questions about grass and mowers and seeding and herbicides. The normal stuff, man. The normal stuff. You didn't miss too much. You did not miss too much. You guys are getting into it saying, does Alabama have a football team? Go Dogs. Man, I don't know, man. The thing with Alabama is like Tom Brady. It's a team where it's instilled in them that losing is bad. They hate losing, and that's why they always find a way to win. So for Georgia to win, we got to get a big lead, a huge lead, and then just try our best not to mess it up, man. That's my hope. That's what I think the winning scenario is going to have to be. All right, so next up we have here Giovanni. He's another comment. He says, Central Florida still reaching 85 degrees. It's been over a week of drought, and I applied some Sunnyland natural fertilizer and got some heavy rain today. Smells like success 3 houses down. I bet it does. It should help. Sir. And then B Young, actually, if Demir's still around, I'm sure he's not taking this one. I think Tenacity will do this. But B Young has a question saying, what's the best way to get rid of POA Triv in a KBG lawn? I'm not sure if I want to say Tenacity should do that. Be Young, but let me take a quick peek at the label here, and I will answer you. We're getting close to the end of the live stream, so I'll take a few moments and take a peek here for you. and see what the label says about POA. It says POA annua, and I don't see anything about POA triv. So I don't know. I'm not sure on that one. B Young. Tenacity isn't labeled for that. I'm not sure on in cultures and grass like what you would use for POA triv in a KBG lawn. Not sure on that one. I'll take it as a research topic, and if I can get D Mir on maybe next week, it'd be a good question to ask him. Let's see, POA triv in KBG. So it's a good research topic for la semana que viene. All right. Next up, we have a question here from you're very welcome, wise guy. And then next up, we have a question from Erna Joe. He says, what can I do about a sloped yard that washes a lot of soil away? I am left with clay, rocky dirt. Okay, so the thing I would say, Erna, without seeing pictures, is one, we have to figure out a way to reduce the amount of erosion the area is getting. So if your lawn, if there's any parts of your roof, right, any parts of your roof that drain to that part of the lawn, let's work on putting some drainage in to divert water away from that. So anything we can do to keep water off the really sloped area, that's going to help. Because you may not realize it, but when you have like a reasonable rain, not even a crazy heavy one, like the amount of water that can come down through a gutter, through a downspout, and get into that runs into a lawn can be substantial. So minimizing water is one thing. That's going to be the big one. If you don't have grass there, getting grass to grow is going to be important to having something to help hold the soil in place. But none of that's going to be successful if we're not doing something to minimize the amount of water erosion we're getting from the rain. So in extreme cases, you may have to regrade the area. You may have to go that far. I mean, I'd hope not, but the big thing is keeping excess water off the area, and then doing all you can as far as making sure you have like grass or some kind of turf there to help hold onto the soil to prevent it from easily running away. Those that can help. That's the best advice I can give you on that without really seeing a picture of it. So hopefully that helps. If you want, send me a picture of the lawn. My email is this, ron@golfcourselawn.com. Send me a picture of the sloped area you're dealing with. And then I can give you some other guidance, but just thinking out loud, that's what I would do. Try to minimize drainage and get some grass in that area to help hold the soil in place. Great question. All right, Matt N is saying, "Hey Ron, big fan. Can you talk a little bit about grub prevention versus killing grubs that are already eating your lawn?" So I just use Acelepryn, Matt. Acelepryn G, the granular that I put down on my lawn, is what I've used in both cases. So I've used Acelepryn with success, and I've also used Caravan G with success. So in cases where I wanted to do a fungicide along with insecticide, I've used Caravan. Like if you look at my previous content, that's been a good combination. But Acelepryn is what I would still go with, man. It's an excellent product, and it has a lot of residual effect. That's why I would recommend it. So hopefully that helps. All right, Robert Rainey is up next. He says, "All right, I'm fully in on a reel mower upgrade, both John Deere and Tower owner. I had a Greensmaster in mind with potential buy. Go with the Greensmaster. But today I get a call on an off-lease JD 220E. Electronic backlap has my attention. I mean, is there a place in your area that can service the John Deere? Robert, that's the first consideration. Also, here's the thing. I don't know anything about the batteries that are in the electric greens mowers, like what kind of life span they have, like what they cost to replace. Like those are things I would look at too, in addition, right? Because you're going to go out and you're going to go buy this mower, and it might be a really good deal. But if next season you got to go spend a bunch of money to putting new batteries in it, then it might not have been as great of a deal. So do some research first, finding out what they require as far as maintenance to the batteries, and like what kind of lifespan you can expect to get out of them, and based on how old yours is. And then you can kind of go from there. I mean, if you're really big into electric mowers and you really want one, yeah, it's worth a shot. I would probably still go for the Greensmaster because I have so much gas stuff anyway. But yeah, I see what you're saying. The struggle is real. The struggle is real as far as making the decision on which one to go with. I would probably go Greensmaster, but again, I am biased. And LG, great question. He says, hey, nothing will get rid of triv in cool season except for glyphosate. So there you go. There's the answer to your question. I know Poa annua, but as soon as I said Poa triv, I'm like, So the interesting question. I mean, LG almost kind of felt like a gotcha question. Almost. But no one would do that, right? No one would come in the live stream and try and do that. They wouldn't do that. But at any rate, man, I appreciate you chiming in, and thanks for the assistance there. Appreciate you. All right, next up we have Ryan Layton, where it says, with a Bermuda lawn, can you overseed with perennial ryegrass and leave it permanently, or do you have to kill it out? I understand the competition in the spring, but other than that, is it an issue? Yes, it's an issue. It will look bad. It will not look good. Like there's a lawn in the neighborhood where they overseeded it with rye and they didn't spray it out, and the Bermuda, like in July, still looked bad. It still looked bad. It looked like just rough. It just wasn't thick, wasn't dense, didn't look good. There was still a bit of the rye still there. So no, I would not. If you were doing perennial ryegrass, I would treat it as an overseed only. Like I would do it because you want to have a green lawn this time of year, and you want to have a green lawn really early in the spring. But as far as having the two coexist together, like long term, it's not really going to work well. And even if it could, I don't know that you really would want it, Ryan, because by having perennial rye and Bermuda in the lawn, let's say you could get them both to go in super nice and super dense, and they all look great together. Wouldn't happen, but let's just say that were the case, right? Now, when it comes to taking care of weeds in your lawn, like spraying out weeds, like what herbicide do you use? I mean, Blindside is one of the few ones that can work on Bermuda or on warm and cool season grass. But then you just start running into other challenges, like if you decide you're going to go with plant growth regulator, which rate do you use? Because Bermuda, the rate for PGR for Bermuda is much lower than the rate for cool season grass. So you just end up creating a bunch of headaches for yourself that you don't have when you have like one grass type at a time. So if you want perennial rye, I would do it. Do your ryegrass, do your overseed, have fun, enjoy it. But when March just rolls around, I would spray it out to get rid of it, because it does not look, at least I've never seen it look good together when summertime hits. It just doesn't, the two of them just do not play nice together. All right. Next up, we got Marion Tinsley. He says, I use crabgrass all season and it did not work. I still have crabgrass and worms and slope. Please help. You use crab. I'm not sure what you mean, Marion, by you say you use, I think you said you had crabgrass all season. I'm not sure what you used. It didn't work. I'm not sure how to answer that one. If you had crabgrass, and you're in New England, then something like Tenacity would work for that. Tenacity and Speed Zone, like that combination, is a very good combination for cool season grass. And as far as the grubs, when you say, are you talking about like worms, like earthworms, or are you talking about grub? A lot of people call grub worms, even though they're not really worms. If you're talking about grubs, then a good insecticide like acelepryn will work well. So I'm sorry I can't do a better answer. I'm assuming that you had grubs or something like that in your lawn, and you had crabgrass. If you did, Tenacity, Speed Zone, and then acelepryn as a means for taking care of both of those. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. And then LG says Certainty was previously labeled. Let's see here. Certainty was previously labeled for triv in cool season lawns many years ago, but not anymore. Someone tried using Certainty, but I hear the grass looks stunted for a while afterwards. I hear you there, LG. That's unfortunate, because Certainty is an awesome herbicide, man. As far as something to kill sedges, Certainty does not mess around, man. Like Certainty puts the sedges in a full Nelson, man. That's a serious smackdown. Great stuff. Really great stuff. And then Demir's chiming in. He says, Be Young, unfortunately, Poa triv is really difficult to control in KBG. If it's spotty, glyphosate is your only answer. Spray or spot spray, rake it out, and reseed with desirable seed type. Thanks for that, Demir. I appreciate you. Great answer. So both you and LG agree that that really you're talking about glyphosate if you want to get rid of it in KBG. And I think we're getting close. Yeah. So Marion, in your case, you're talking about grubs. Acelepryn G is what you're going to want to use. So let me just do that real quick. So I didn't tell you. I'll give you links for both of them so you can know what I'm talking about. So for Tenacity, you can use this link here. That will help with the crabgrass. So at Marion F. So that's for your crabgrass. And then for the grubs, acelepryn is an awesome option. Again, not cheap, but It's the good stuff. It is that good stuff. I will. I am really impressed with it. I mean, Caravan G worked really well too, but I'm super impressed with Acelepryn. And this is Acelepryn. So that's the insecticide for grubs. All right, guys. I think we are chiming down. I think we've run down. You guys have talked me out. I think that's about it. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Grasshopper Lawn Care saying thanks for your help. Enjoy the live stream. Good night. Need my beauty sleep. Lois, again, thank you for the products you sent. You know, hopefully my skin is looking a little bit better. It's only been the first application, but we'll see if it does better over time. And Demir, I will be reaching out to you, sir, to see if we can put something together to have you come on and talk about grass with us and talk about, you know, like what you do, how you do it, all this great stuff. And Brick Rehab says, since we're getting to a close, I want to say hi. I'm also going to have to watch recording. Actually, before we close out, I didn't do the giveaway, the giveaway talk, so I can't leave you guys hanging. So what I have tonight are two things. We got two hats, both from Miramichi Green. We have, I think the last time we did a black one. This week we're going to do the gray. It's like may look like it's black on the camera, but this is like a gray trucker hat with that Miramichi Green logo. We're gonna be doing that, and I like FDE, right? I like FDE/Desert Tan. I like that, so we're gonna be doing one of these. So if someone wants one of those, we're gonna be doing both of those next week at some point during the live stream. And then in addition, we have the Ron Henry. Hang on, let's see here. We have the Ron Henry magnet, refrigerator magnet or toolbox magnet, courtesy of Mr. Josh Habib. So if you guys want to be entered to do that, super simple. All you have to do is at the end of this live stream, once it's over, and this is kind of a question, I'm not going to give you the answer to it, but it's a softball. What is the insecticide? What is the name of the insecticide that I made a video on earlier this season, like in March, and I sprayed on my lawn, or I put it in spray. I applied to my lawn in that video earlier this season. So don't do it in the comments now. You will put that in the chat. Once this live stream is over. So what was the name of the insecticide? We've been talking about it a bunch tonight. It starts with the first letter in the alphabet. That's all I can give you. I think I'm pretty much giving it away. Put that in the chat. That's all you have to put in, and then you're entered. And then next week we will do a giveaway of two, not one, but two Miramichi Green hats. I may see if I have one of my custom hats that Mr. Josh Habib sent me. We might do one of those too, but I will definitely do the two Miramichi Greens and the refrigerator magnets as well. Very, very good. Well, guys, I think that is pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly do appreciate all the love and support and you guys coming to hang out and talk about turfgrass. Again, be sure to drop your comment once the stream is over. I will see you guys next week. Have an amazing weekend. Enjoy this non-rainy weather if you happen to be living in Georgia. Take care.